Well, I think it's our time.
It's time.
Right.
That's right, Diana signed it. Okay, if we can call the meeting to order, please, and rise and pledge allegiance. Yeah, we're gonna do both. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And if you just bow your heads for a minute while I pray. Dear Heavenly Father, we praise you and we thank you for this day, Lord. We thank you for each and every person in this room. We just pray, Lord, that you would guide and direct this council, Lord, to make good fiscal decisions for our budget this year and just bring us the transparency we need as we're working through it. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. I'm going to do roll call, Tara.
Counselor Steele?
Here.
Counselor Culver?
Here.
Counselor Likens? Counselor Grabowski?
Here.
Counselor Keller? Here. Vice President Green?
Here.
President Nord?
Present. Okay, have you guys had an opportunity to look at the minutes? And if so, if I could have a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, first and second, and any discussion? If not, all in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay. Next is the approval of the agenda. Has everybody had a chance to look at that? If so, can I have a motion to approve?
Make a motion to approve.
Okay, can I have a second?
Second.
Okay, first and second. Any discussion? Not all in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay. You said you don't have an auditor's report today? No old business, no new business. Let's get right to the transfers. Emergency management.
That was quick. I was hoping for a minute or two to settle in.
I like quick.
Okay, let's make it quick. All in favor, say aye.
I don't know if we can go quite that quick.
Okay. I'm Don Billy. I'm the Deputy Director of Emergency Management. I'm here for Lynn Edens tonight. He's out of town. We're asking for a transfer from existing funds. I believe you should have copies of the request. Do you have those? Okay. So we're looking for a transfer out of the administrative assistant salary, $10,000. We never filled that position this year and don't look to fill it before the end of the year either. If we transfer 10,000 out, we'll still leave 7,400 in there. This is to help with some costs that we've received. One of gas for the vehicles. And so we'd like to transfer $4,000 into the operating supplies, which is our fuel money. We've already spent this year over 5,000, or I'm sorry, we only have left this year 5,200 for the balance of the year out of what the beginning balance was. And we're going to run out of gas probably in October if we don't have some money transferred. Repair and maintenance, we need an additional $2,000, machinery and equipment, $2,000, and repair and maintenance supplies, $2,000, totals to $10,000. Again, not new money, just a request to transfer to those funds so that we can complete the work that we have in front of us.
Okay, do I have a motion?
Make a motion to approve.
Okay, do I have a second?
Second.
First and second, any discussion or questions? I'm just gonna say one thing. This is, I understand what you're doing and why you're doing it. Do you know, are you planning on having that position next year in the budget?
I believe it's in the budget, yes.
Okay. When we transfer money out of a line like this, out of a payroll line that we're not permanently reducing, it just makes it hard on budget for the next year. So as much as I don't like people asking for new money, it probably would have been better to ask for new money in this situation so that line stays the way it's supposed to be. Does that make sense?
It does.
Okay.
Well, Jody, it does say on here, no longer filling this position in the future to help with budget cuts.
That was the intent.
Okay.
And we met last week with
Okay.
Mr. Green, and
Thank you for saying that. I didn't see that.
so there's some potential change.
Okay, so yes, if they're not filling it, then that makes absolute sense why you transfer the money then.
Okay.
Okay, any other questions or comments? If not, we got a first and second on the floor. Can I have all in favor signify by aye?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, that passes. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Okay, prosecutor.
Good evening, Council. Andrew Hanna, Chief Deputy Prosecutor. We have a request to transfer $26,000 from our professional services line item within the rainy day fund that is dedicated to the capital case to disperse between prosecutor line item, part-time, FICA, perf. That's in consideration with what I was explaining at the budget meetings a few weeks ago in terms of a deputy prosecutor that is from November through the end of April, given the February trial of this case.
Okay, do I have a motion to approve? Do
So moved.
I have a second?
Second.
Okay, Ms. Grabowski. Any questions or comments? Not, all in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay,
Thank you, Council.
Good evening, Steph Mellinger, Health Department. First transfer I have is from the 1159 Health Fund. 5,000 from utilities into other services and charges for a program that is around food insecurity in schools, and then also programming with, in collaboration with the Minority Health Coalition. And then
I'm just trying to debate. You've got a bunch. Can we do the HFI Fund 11612 right away?
Yep, sure. Transfer. So operating supplies, $225 into the longevity line as a result of an employee who switched positions.
Can I have a motion to approve both the Health Fund 1159 transfer and the HEFI Fund 1161 transfer?
Move.
Okay, Mr. Steele, do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, Dr. Green. Any questions, comments?
No, thank you, Stephanie, for sending the.
Sure.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, all in favor of those two, please signify by aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Thank you.
And then I have two appropriations. The first one is the Health First Initiative, or the Health First Indiana Fund, which is 1161. This is not general fund money, and the money is already there. It's a carryover from 2024. And we would like to appropriate $225,000 or $225,400 into professional services, and then $157,000 into the construction. So for a total of $382,400. The professional services is for contract nurse practitioners, an insurance biller, coder, and a chronic disease employee. And then the construction component is for clinic expansion in our building.
What was the capital? I'm sorry, what was the capital? project?
Clinic expansion in our building.
Okay.
So making some changes in our building, plus the air conditioning unit is needing addressed.
And do you want to go ahead and do
Sure.
the DIS grant as well?
And then the last one is Fund 8172 for the DIS grant. This grant goes through February, and this is just the second amendment for the additional funding to get us through February. So that grant's already been approved. This is just the next round of money for it.
Okay, can I have a motion for the HFI Fund 1161 and the DIS grant 8172?
Make a motion to approve.
Okay, and do I have a second?
Second.
A first and second, okay. Any conversation or questions? If not, signify by saying aye if you're approving. I can't talk today. If you approve, please say yes.
Aye.
Aye.
Yes.
All opposed. Okay, that passes.
Thank you.
All right, thanks, Stephanie. Oh, go ahead, John.
Hello, Council.
Sorry.
John Beeman, Sheriff's Department. Ours is money out of the rainy day fund for the board's case. We got $6,567.02 on the out of the sheriff's line, and then 1,439.02 out of the jail side.
Okay, can I have a motion to approve, please?
So moved.
Okay, well, I had Dr. Green. Can you second it?
Yeah.
Okay. Ms. Grabowski seconded. Any questions, concerns, comments, or anything? If not, all in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
All right.
Thank you, council.
Back again, a new money request. Both of these are non-taxpayer funds, our pretrial diversion fund as well as our law enforcement fund. Kind of discussing these together. The biggest expense that we had recently was, and I talked about this at our budget meetings, where we bought out of our Axon contract, enter a new 10-year contract at a much lower rate. And we did that buying out of that contract from our discretionary funds as opposed to asking for new money to do that. So that has reduced our appropriations. That's why we need to increase our appropriations, as well as the fact that our civil forfeitures pass through the law enforcement fund, meaning even money that is returned to the interested person, counsel for the defendant, as well as payments out to law enforcement, all go through that other line item. So that is not indicative that our revenue is increased to that much, but the fact that those currency or whatever it may be is deposited in the Madison County Treasurer's office, and then those checks are paid out through that other fund. That's why that number is 100,000 there.
Okay. Can I have a motion to approve both of those?
I'll move.
Mr. Steele, can I have a second?
Second.
Ms. Grabowski, any questions, comments? If not, all in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay.
Thank you, council.
You're back.
And I'm back. Thank you. Again, this is a request for an appropriation. This is not new money. This is a grant that we received from Duke Energy for $10,000. We applied for safety equipment, specifically communications equipment, pagers, weather radios, voltage detectors, also to be used out on site. And these are things that are outside the budget, but are on the wish list. Duke had an opportunity, we had an opportunity through them to apply for it, and they graciously extended the offer and sent a check. So it's out there waiting for appropriation, and we request to be appropriated.
I love it when people get grants.
I do too. It's amazing.
Make a motion to approve.
Okay, do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, first and second. All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Thank you very much, Council.
Thank you.
Thanks, Tom.
Oh, next is me. Okay, so what this is we had talked briefly about this, I think at the last meeting maybe, I don't know,
Mm-hmm.
about taking the $1 million that we've currently appropriated in the rainy day fund for the insurance for the commissioners and unappropriating it from there and appropriating it in the general fund because we have the additional lit funds that came through. So that's what this is. So this is, the first one is unappropriating it from the rainy day. So if I could have a motion to unappropriate it from the rainy day,
Can we just do them together?
I guess,
You
yeah,
get-
we can do
you
them
get the
together.
Same comment
Yeah.
at once.
It is. Okay,
I'll
so,
move that we unappropriate and reappropriate as presented. the
okay,
Group insurance from rainy day to general
okay.
and seek community input.
I'll second that.
Okay, so we have a first and second. Is there any public input? Does anybody have a comment they'd like to make about that? Seeing none?
I just had a quick question. So putting it back into, so it's going back into the commissioner's budget?
Yeah, so we had reduced their insurance line by $1 million and put it into the rainy day fund.
Right.
We're gonna put it back into the commissioner's fund, into the insurance line.
Because that's something we've been talking about with the budget, whether or not to keep that in the general fund budget or the rainy day But we're just gonna go ahead now and move it back.
We're gonna move it back because we have the funds within the general fund to be able to pay for it because of the additional revenue that came in.
Okay.
Otherwise, we would have left it in there.
So we'll still have that discussion for the 27 budget, whether or not to
Yes.
include, okay.
Other questions or comments? Okay, we got a first and a second. All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay. Mr. Sheriff Beeman.
Okay, council, this is a reimbursement for the marshal service for a task force officer assigned.
Okay, can I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Okay, Dr. Green, can I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Cole, any conversation, discussion? Okay, I need to, is there any public comment on that? Not, all in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Thank
All
you,
right.
council.
Thank you.
And then we need to reduce our longevity. That's never a bad thing. So I need a motion to decrease our longevity by $11,225. Can I have a motion for that?
I make a motion to approve.
Mr. Grabowski, can I have a second?
Second.
Keller, any conversation, questions? Do I have to have public input on reducing? Okay, any public input on that? Okay. All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Okay. Okay, so we have a salary ordinance that we need to pass today. For the prosecutor's office, it's a rainy day fund 1186. So it's salary ordinance 2026 8C. Can I have a motion to approve?
Make a motion to approve.
Can I have a second?
Second.
Okay, roll call vote, please.
Yes.
Counselor Cole,
Yes.
Counselor Kowski,
Yes.
Counselor Keller,
Yes.
Vice President Green,
Yes.
President Moore.
Yes. Okay, we have salary ordinance 2026 8D, which is the general fund for the sheriff, the overtime, and then the rainy day overtime for the sheriff and the jail. Can I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Okay, Dr. Green, can I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Culp, roll call vote, please.
Counselor Steele,
Yes.
Counselor Cole,
Yes.
Counselor Grabowski,
Yes.
Counselor Keller,
Yes.
Vice President Green,
Yes.
President Moore.
Yes. Okay, then I have salary ordinance 2026 8E, which is the HFI fund 1161 on longevity. It's the rainy day 1186 on the group insurance for the commissioners. That's a reduction. It's the general fund 1,000 various, reduction in longevity of 11,225, and it's the increase in the general fund for the commissioners of $1 million. Can I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Okay, Dr. Green, a second.
Second.
Okay, Mr. Steele. Can I have a roll call? Oh, wait. Yeah, can I have a roll call vote, please?
Counselor Steele,
Yes.
Counselor Cole,
Yes.
Counselor Grabowski,
Yes.
Counselor Keller,
Yes.
Vice President Green,
Yes.
President Moore.
Yes. Okay, and the only person I have on the public hearing sheet is Mr. Sargent, and he has nothing. Wow, that's the fastest we've ever gotten through a council meeting, I think, in the history.
I think you win the prize.
I win the
19
prize.
minutes.
Win the prize.
Well, it was a simple.
And now the meeting begins.
And now the meeting begins, yeah, because now we're gonna work on budget,
That
guys.
was kind of like the prayer.
Let's
No,
That's
no, no, no.
right.
Let's get these signed before we do that, though.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Well, just because we like your presence.
You do not have to, if you do not want to.
69 is a mess. About 160.
I got it to.
465 is a mess.
All that they are.
Took me
I wouldn't want
hour
to,
and 40.
wouldn't want to be driving in rush hour right now.
Accidents, rain, big storm came through right when I hit the
People
corner
forgot how
there.
to drive.
Well, if you're on 465, you take all.
Nobody knows how to drive.
Sorry, I just said that there. No, that's mine. I just said it there.
Where did mine go?
Yeah, we should have another
I
one.
don't know. You want to borrow it?
Right?
You have 2 books?
No, that's my agenda. You need the code? Do you have it? I don't know if that's it. But that's what.
I think they need to go back that way.
Take that down to the ladies there.
Thank you, Bob.
Us ladies.
I should have just
Don't
had
we
you.
have
I should have just had you virtually here, huh?
No, no, no.
I don't know what you-
Don't we have a minute to sign?
I haven't seen the minutes. I don't know where they're at.
Kara?
If always the hourly rate could be so efficiently managed.
Kara?
Get some rest. I got a grandbaby coming tomorrow.
Minutes?
You
Oh.
do. Congratulations to you.
How many
That's
are
super
there?
exciting.
6.
I got 2. I got 9.
You got 9. It's a 9 C-section.
We were the
I have
first.
0.
We beat her to
I
9.
hope so.
I would hope so too.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Thanks for being here.
You betcha.
Rams are the best.
Yeah, they are.
Drive safe.
Thank you.
All right, got that for
See you next
mister?
month.
Same bat channel.
Anybody here driving Mercedes that they lost their key fob? Is it yours?
It's up for auction. It's gonna go to the general fund.
It's in the commissioner's office. You wouldn't be getting very far.
Oh.
No, I wouldn't.
Your car's getting auctioned off.
Yeah, well.
Sorry, I just gave it away.
Thank you.
Yeah, he's not really the
Civil forfeiture.
Mercedes or BMW kind of guy, okay?
It would have been sent to go out there and not have a key. That-
Especially after the doors are open.
He's kind of the
Lots of
Chevy
pages
guy
on there.
that his truck, he prefers trucks that max out for safety reasons at 20 miles an hour.
No harassment to the office.
Yeah, that's right. Well, there's no auditor's report, so what are we gonna lose?
Well, good point.
Yeah, and we need to not have the auditors report every month.
Yeah.
You know
We
what?
Still been going.
Maybe that's the one difference.
That's what I was thinking.
Hey, I still a position we might need to cut. Don't tell me with a good time.
Yeah.
That's right. Don't be teasing.
Well,
My heart issues are solved.
I wonder.
I
was
don't
on
need a
and now I'm
pacemaker
not.
anymore.
So,
I need a
we're both
pacemaker.
spinning.
Yeah.
Thank you, Karen. There you
Are you
go.
up?
Am I up?
Yeah, online.
Yeah, I'm online.
Okay.
I'm up.
Popped up.
Okay, good. Well, I'm trusting it's coming.
Mr. Lawrence, when you get a second, can I borrow you?
Training 2 days. I gotta go back.
Shouldn't I have
There
3
we go.
places to sign? Where's the other one?
Should be a couple.
So,
testing.
When I'm going through here, just
There it is.
any of them here. So we go into budgets. Okay. Is there any way to have, instead of having this fund number here, is there a way that I can add another section? I know somehow I can add another layer
Is that the
here
right?
that I can constantly have that fund here where on all of my line items. Does that make sense?
Yeah, the reason that we have the lines that don't have a fund number tied to it is because it's the direct correspond with whatever the drop down filter box is. So it's taking our entire budget and putting in a box and another box and another box.
Okay.
The more of those you're away from, the more lines direct you can see.
Okay.
That's the way that I've come to find
You need it?
No, I
the
didn't bring my
easiest use
password.
with it.
A
anymore.
couple of signatures.
I had mine saved. in it, so that
Well,
way I
mine
didn't
was too. I don't know.
So
why it's
short
not.
answer,
maybe reload the page and then click
I
login.
mean, not truly.
Fancy tabs you got there. We need to put a tab on it and just budget. Sign here.
We can get it. It'll always technically show on the line that has the actual line,
Right.
but it won't show on those lines
No
because
other
in
way.
theory there might be other lines within that one, or the coding has it open for that
Okay.
possibility. Now, realistically, this default view we could probably
They
tweak it.
reset it for you?
If I were you, I would probably do. Well, you guys tend to look at departmental level. I would almost say fund and then department, and then you can get rid of
Oh,
location.
I see. Can I just drag that over there?
Should be able to.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So now you'll be able to see at your biggest box level, quote unquote, would be all your funds. Once
Okay.
you drop that down, you would then see any departments listed within that. However,
Oh.
anything
That's
outside
fine.
of the general fund won't have a department tied to it. It'll be all within a
This
box
one?
thing of no department. Or wait, no, that's not right. It'll have departments, it will not have location. So you can actually get rid of location altogether.
Yeah, I don't think I like that. I
You
don't
don't
think
care
that's
for it?
gonna be as useful
That's valid.
because then I have to.
We can isolate.
Okay, so county general.
Mhm.
Okay. I still have to go through
Quite a
the
few.
exact same way
Yeah,
to get that
because we still have the 4 levels.
right.
If we get rid of some of the levels, that probably help you. So
Okay.
I would just get rid of location. So now it'll drop down general, sheriff, expense type, or because you want to just look at the entire sheriff's department at one, you get rid of your expense type. And it would just show you when you drop down sheriff, it'll have everything. That'll show just your line item.
When you say expense type, which
Put in.
The expense type is the
Where's
way
that?
they
like where's this showing me? Is that this?
That's these salary, wage, benefits, office
Gotcha.
supplies. That's the coding level that ClearGov recognizes as like the differential. Getting rid of
Okay, I
it, just
see.
you see all those lines in sequential order. It all depends, I guess, really kind of how much screen you have to use, as
Sure.
well as how number savvy you want to be.
And how do I add these back? If I want to add those.
The columns tab over here.
Yeah.
And in that
I wonder if
first
it'll-
general information one, you can kind of drop it down to a sub menu.
I don't know why
Little
it's not
arrow.
going in.
Yeah. Now it's gotten rid of all of them. It's all good. You had
So now
You had
just
fun.
reset view.
Okay.
Is that better?
that works too. However you want to do it.
Okay. Then I can go through and add.
Add and change.
Okay.
Okay, so it's
Another way, if
Madison.
you guys are doing this in a large setting, if you wanted to, you could kick it over to Excel.
Yes.
Just make sure you right click on the description,
There's display like that.
just in the field, yeah, and expand all row groups. That does it too. And with everything blown out, it's now in those boxes,
I
but you
don't
can
have
just
this.
export it and it'll open it up
I'm
in
not
Excel.
making changes to it. doesn't
See,
matter.
here we go
So you
again.
won't have,
Wrong
you won't
button.
have any up for it.
Happens a lot.
Oh, okay.
Right.
There we go.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't want
Yes.
those. Can you get us back this?
Thank you, sir.
I don't know about Mac.
You in?
I'm in.
I don't get
More
revenue,
than one
but I
way to
would love
skin a
Mac.
computer.
I know those shortcuts significantly better.
Oh, me too.
I love them. So, let's see. You got rid of your location and you got rid of your expense type originally, or you kept your expense type, but you
And there
can
are,
get rid of it if you want.
So just to make sure I'm not gonna get that back. So columns.
Yeah.
And then the arrow, the crow's foot, is what brings the drop down menu.
Okay.
I think I
It
already.
took it as a right click.
You go
There it
through
is.
and do this details.
And that's, you would select each of those columns from there.
No, location's gone, but it's still checked.
It is still checked because it'll show up here. It just won't be defined as a grouping. It shows you the data without having to group it by filter. In essence, that's what it's doing, is trying to create a filter.
Okay.
It takes a little get playing with.
Okay, as soon as I get this spreadsheet open,
All right.
I'll get
Okay
started.
with that one. Thank you.
No problem.
Okay. So I think what we'll do is we'll start with the first department in there and work our way through.
Just go department by department.
Yep.
Okay.
So on the clerk's budget, she had a surplus of 5,749, and she did move that to I think it was 40 clerk, part of that surplus, so we'll see that later. But she's good, I think. She's good there. Any questions about her budget?
Do you see?
You're talking about clerk 4D?
No,
Oh,
I'm talking
okay.
about, I'm
Sorry.
starting at the top.
The
Is she-
40 program, child support?
No, I'm talking about the
No,
clerk.
that's just where she moved that money to. So go
So if
all
you
the
go to
way
the
up.
clerk, go all the way to the top.
Sorry.
Oh, yours
Why
is
is
a
it-
little different. So
That's-
you might
that's the
have it
top.
filtered.
Oh, go to the county here.
Oh,
click
yeah.
there.
County.
Yeah.
No, that's where you were at.
They're-
That's
they're
not-
an
Go
alphabetical-
filter.
Doesn't have a filter. on
Yeah,
it.
right. That, no, down. That little sign is filtered.
Okay.
I think clicking at this bar actually.
Oh, put clerk. I don't know
No,
why.
I was
yours is
just
so
messing with this
weird.
earlier. Hold on, let's see.
Yeah, it's that one there.
40?
Yeah.
Circuit
The
court.
clerk. Circuit clerk. So you see how she's got a surplus? This line
Yes.
here.
Mhm.
Okay, so she's got a surplus of 5,749. She did eliminate a position. She redistributed those funds. And that's what's left over from that redistribution. Like I said, I think she, if I remember right, when I was looking at the notes, she moved part of that into the 40 budget, into one of the employee lines. Part of that, not all of it, but. Is there any questions about her budget? Hearing nothing, we're gonna move on to the next one, which is the auditor. Okay, the auditor is also under budget, $998.30. He also eliminated a position, distributed that to his employees. Is there any question about his budget?
Is what we're looking at, does it include salary increase?
Yeah, see, mine includes all the salary.
Yours does. I
increases.
took them all out of my spreadsheet, so just ignore this, just ignore the increases for now. Well, his are a little different, and so are the clerks, because those were not,
The regular.
they're from elimination of a position and then putting money back into those positions. One of the things about the clerks too, the $5,000 increase on her salary line and also her deputy is primarily because of election duties, the amount of election duties, and her first in command cannot get overtime because she's salaried, and she puts in a lot of extra hours with the elections. So something we could consider, if we don't want to leave it there, we could consider putting it into the election budget. Having a $5,000 stipend possibly there. Make it a little more cleaner, but it's something that we need to consider or not. If you don't want to, we don't have to.
For the salary increases for elected official and chief deputy, that's what you're referring to currently?
Yeah, if you look at the comment on the side there.
Yeah, I did read that.
Yeah,
Oops.
oh dear.
Okay. Okay. So, yeah, again, just clarifying if we're including salary increases in the present conversation.
Well, they're in that spreadsheet. I took Sam did a spreadsheet, an Excel spreadsheet for me, and I went through this morning or this afternoon and yesterday, and I deleted all the salary increases. I've not had an opportunity, and I apologize, to total everything up to see where we're at. But I took out all the departments that put in 5% increases and 10% increases. That didn't, I took all of them out that didn't eliminate a position to fund those things. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
As a general principle, I guess I would say we've had conversation about a 3% or a 5% raise for staff. I think, in my view, for leaders of departments who have made cuts and then want to reapportion some of that money back into salaries, I don't have an issue with that. I don't think the elected officials should be net more than 5% that would be given to all of the employees. If they want to reimburse some of their other employees more than that as a result of their savings, I don't have an issue with that either.
Okay, so.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, does that make sense to everybody?
No.
Not really.
Sorry. So if they've reapportioned some of that money,
So, yeah, in other
From an
words,
elimination of
they take they have a position that's $50,000 and they say, we don't need that position anymore. I want to take that 50,000 and put that in some of my other. And so you have some employees that maybe are looking at a 7% or an 8% or a 10% raise. I don't have an issue with them wanting to reward their employees who are working overtime or who are stellar. I think as an elected official, that should be capped at 5%. That's what I'm saying.
yeah, okay.
You're just saying for the elected official
Only
position.
for that position only. That if
You don't
we-
want them giving
Well, I didn't
themselves
even
20%.
think we-
I don't want
raises.
them giving themselves great big
Con-
raises because they were able to save from somebody else.
Okay.
So
Can we
that's
change
all I'm
elected
saying.
official
That would be,
salaries?
and that's
mid?
presuming that we give
I didn't
5%
think
to
we
everyone.
could.
In other words, if there's
I thought we had
an equitable
opportunity when we
raise,
first got
I
in
think
to
that
change
would be
our salary.
appropriate.
An
Does that
elected official.
It does,
Does that make
yes,
sense?
yes.
Okay,
It just
sorry.
leads to another
Raise their
question.
salary only, but-
If a raise is given to an employee, are they also going to get the additional 5%? That's
Right, that's what I thought he was talking
I-
about
I-
first,
I-
but he's not, I don't think.
okay.
They're giving 5% and then whatever the raise is being proposed, if the department head wants to give them an additional 5%.
Totally separate.
That would be separate.
So the 5% initially will be on their original salary that
Mhm.
they had before any redistribution of funds. That's how we would calculate their 5%.
Yeah, that's the end of that conversation. And then when the
And then if they
redistribution
wanna
happens,
redistribute part of
separate.
their revenues or their funds within their department, they can do that after that.
That would.
Because you don't want to give them the redistribution first and then
No.
the 5%, because then you're
No, that's not
inflating
fair.
that 5%.
You're right, right.
But you also don't want to do
So what
it
we
the
could
opposite
do
way.
So as it relates to clerk, that would be an example. The raise was 7.68%. So that I would alter that number to make it 5% is what I'm saying.
Okay. So, we could just work through this and have him change numbers now, and then we're done with that budget. Does that sound like a good idea? Okay, so let's go back to the clerk's budget.
Like me to just, as we go down the list.
Did she
Calculator.
have, she didn't have, okay, she didn't have any salary increases in, she just did the redistribution, correct? Except for hers and her, chief deputy, is that correct?
As I read it and as the comments read, I believe that is.
Well, the head bookkeeper as a raise.
I mean, no, there's several raises in
Oh,
there,
sorry.
but what I meant
Wasn't
is,
sure what you asked.
It seems to mostly be a redistributing that eliminated position.
yeah, she didn't put in a 5% increase on top of that redistribution. She just put in the, redistribution, correct?
That's how I understand it, correct?
So.
I would entertain, well, okay, never mind.
No, what were you
No, I was
gonna
gonna
say?
say, I would entertain doing the $5,000 for the chief deputy in the election budget. Because if it's not done separate as an election stipend and that's the reason, then it's just automatically gonna stay like that come next year.
Then there's
Unless
the,
someone
there's
questions
always
it.
1 out of 4 years where there is no election. Do you give it to them?
Right.
I mean, if the justification is for election duties during election year, and I know they're all different.
I'm assuming, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, because it's not my budget, but on an off year when they don't have that, do they still have, does the election board still get a stipend?
Without the election board would meet.
They don't meet
know,
as often.
They don't
so
meet,
they-
they-
So that money just stays in there and it gets put back into the general fund. I'm fine with that if we want to put that into the election budget. Her budget on the election budget's going to be high anyways because of that issue
Yeah,
that with that
Mhm.
contract, but
technology,
it just
yeah.
makes, I think it makes more sense to have it in there than to have it in her clerk's budget, but I see what she did because she redistributed funds.
Mhm.
So
I just think it'll end up being a permanent increase if we,
Yeah.
if we do it in that fund.
So
Right, that's good.
what did she do? Okay, so she gave more than the 5. How do we want to do that?
The only interesting thing about that is that if she did take it, it's all funds from redistribution of her already present budget, then you are kind of punishing her moving things around and saving in some areas. Because at that point, her reallocating her funds, you're now stripping 5,000 of the reallocation, which I don't like that point of it.
Well, I don't know that, I mean, we had talked earlier in the year, if we're gonna reallocate funds of positions that were eliminated, we never really nailed down, do they get 100% of it?
I don't agree with that.
Given 100% out?
Yeah,
back
I
out?
think
Well,
that
I think some of it ought to come back to general.
I agree. 'Cause when are we ever gonna cut our budget?
Right, I would agree with that too. I don't think 100% should necessarily go. And I think, I mean, there's another dynamic. I mean, different departments have different capacities to generate revenue. I mean, think about the youth center. They have the ability to generate literally hundreds of thousands of dollars. They could give themselves really big raises, and maybe that's justified, except that it wasn't a cut. It was just an increase of revenue. So however you choose to access revenue,
Well,
in this
some-
case, they're
Some
accessing revenue
departments
through a
don't
cut.
have, they can't generate, they have
Right,
limited
and
means
And
to
some don't,
generate
right,
money.
they don't have
They're
or
just a
small departments
service.
that don't have all that, very many extra staff. There's no way they
Right.
could cut staff to give other people raises,
Sure.
so.
And so is that something you take into consideration is the people who can generate revenue? That's something that can be addressed of, removing that in this situation. Because
So
the
how many
only thing I really want to think about is if you're incentivizing them cutting their budgets to increase their salaries, wages, I don't want to get into a position where you're trying to incentivize it while still punishing it at the same time.
No, that's fair. That's fair.
I get your point about the departments who can bring more money in themselves, so
Or can't cut.
or can't, and that's where I think we need to take a hard, long look at. If they can't bring in more revenue, and they're already stretched, do you take those funds out of that department? Just something to think about.
How much are the salary increases in totality, and how much was a decrease in salaries?
Within any
The
specific.
clerk, just the clerk,
Within the clerk.
because I can't read that far.
Well, she reduced her budget by $5,749 total
So this is the clerk's
in the
salaries.
clerk's budget after the redistribution
You
of
can
the
scroll
fund.
up and down. These are all their salary line items. Move it around.
Is that what you're asking, Rob?
Percentage
Yeah.
changes. So this is the
So
this is
took
the
out
position she cut
37,000 and then
and redistributed.
redistributed 32,000.
Yeah.
Roughly, okay.
After that redistribution, it still nets a decrease just shy of 1%.
That's my only thing is if you do move that line item, which I do understand moving that line item, if you do move it out of her clerk's budget, you're essentially cutting the budget, which I understand we want to cut, but I just want to make sure we're doing first of all what we said that our purpose of the whole we want you to cut your 5% budget is, while also still incentivizing using your funds wisely and not over appropriating.
Well, I know that the comment in both of those lines was compensation for election duties. So,
So it just may be worth having a conversation with Linda.
well, I have talked with Linda.
It would be helpful to have a principle.
Yes. Because my understanding, the
That we all
principal.
agree on,
Right.
we vote on.
If we had a principle
Yeah.
that we agree on,
Mhm.
I think that then helps guide
Right.
leaders.
Well, it
So
shouldn't be a surprise to the clerk that she has to do elections. Or has to work the elections.
that-
I
that's-
don't-
No, I don't think
I don't
that's what
think
we're
it's a
arguing
surprise
about.
to
Yeah.
her. I just
Oh,
think
I know
that
it isn't. but
it's been extremely a
not-
lot of work.
I
And
can
maybe
understand the
so.
first deputy because of the limitations, but
I'll throw this out, just on the table as a conversation starter. What happens if there's a savings been able to be made, and this, we'll use the clerks as an example, that's up to 75% of that savings can be redistributed, understanding that the elected official can't receive more than the general raise that we're giving to everyone, and the staff can be raised no more than 10%.
The only problem that I think this year, specifically to this year, that I have is we came at this whole cut 5% to re-input into your department. I think the principle that we initially came into it as is we want you to cut the 5% so that we can compensate your employees. That was, to me, the principal reason for doing that. And so when you start doing that this year, well, you cut 5%, but you only get to use up to 75% of it, and we're going to take that 25% back in the general fund this year. I think it's disingenuous, is what I interpret it as this year, because that's not what we told them we were doing.
Did we tell?
Well, we didn't tell
Is
them.
everybody
I was gonna
clear
say,
that
it's not
that's what
something
we're
there
we
isn't.
voted on.
I don't
I
think
didn't
it's-
know anybody readjusted and or redistributed wages within it, because we had not set a policy or
I
a
don't-
guideline.
I don't think
We
it was.
talked about it, but we never decided as a council what to do.
right?
I don't
right,
think it's something we voted on, but I do think it's something we said, hey, we want you to cut 5% to put it back in your department.
Oh, well, we said we wanted them to cut 5% so we could give a 5% increase across the board. That's what we were trying to do.
That was
so.
the original motivation, I would say. But again, I don't disagree with the fact that we want to incentivize our department heads to work to save money and have opportunity to redistribute some of that money.
Right.
I'm just, again, I guess we just have to come to some degree of agreement.
Sure.
Because I
About-
have a different view on that.
What-
I
what's
feel
yours?
like the incentive should be to serve the taxpayers well. And if we can, if there's a position that can be cut because it's no longer needed, then yeah, I'm okay with leaving some of that within for them to do, to appropriate where they are lacking. Because we have some great employees in this county and they deserve to be compensated well. But if it's something we can cut and actually cut our budget, then that serves the taxpayers well when we can spend less money.
Yeah.
And if we have positions that are no longer needed, then I don't think it should all just if we can find ways to cut our budget, I think we should. I think that serves our taxpayers well. I mean, every dollar we spend comes from somebody's check before it even hits their bank. And I just think we need to be responsible with those dollars.
And I do know after it's said and done, because of some of the operating lines that have had to increase, that we're going to be tight. We're going to have to cut. I'm guessing, because like I said, I don't have all the numbers yet because I've been working through this, and I'll be honest, this program's not been exactly user-friendly for me because I need to see totals, and I don't have totals, except for the totals that are in here that have 5% increases in some departments and different things like that. We're gonna have to cut probably, I'm guessing, around $500,000, which is not bad for most years. But did you want to say something, Todd?
I did. I wanted to remind the council that this was the discussion that if you reduce the 5%, and especially by an employee, you would be allowed to redistribute it within your department. Dr. Green, you sent out an email regarding that cut shortly after you guys talked about it and ensured these departments that their money would not be distributed to other departments, that they would be able to utilize it in their own departments. There were only 3 departments that offered that cut, mine being one of them, mainly because I wanted to try to be an example for the council that, hey, if you do this, the council will let you do it. I want to say I remember Jody being very upset that there weren't more people that offered cuts, but nobody believed what you said, that you wouldn't redistribute the money to other departments. And that's why they don't offer cuts. So I'd be careful what you do with those 3 departments, because you're telling them one thing and they do it. And then if you don't do it, you'll be telling them, hey, don't trust us. Don't cut your budgets, because we're not going to do what we say we're going to do. The other thing I would like to comment is I've heard discussion about elected officials. Okay. One thing I think this council needs to do is evaluate those positions, because I think your elected officials, the ones that we pay out of the general fund, are out of whack right now. Okay. Your clerk and your treasurer particularly are underpaid in regards to, if you think about them in perspective to the recorder makes $71,000. Both the clerk and the treasurer make less than the recorder, but the job responsibilities of the clerk and the treasurer far exceed the responsibilities of the recorder. I think these are things that you need to contemplate, not just say, oh, give them all 5% raise. Think about what their duties are, think about what their responsibilities are, make sure it's in line, so you don't have a position that doesn't have near the responsibilities getting paid more than people that have an incredible amount of work on their plate. So just something to think about.
Hey, Todd, is the recorder getting paid out of her perpetuation fund as
I
well?
believe she gets paid both. It's a total of 71,000. She's
So
getting a
mostly out of the
stipend,
general fund.
mostly out of the general, but a stipend out of the recorder's perpetuation fund. But where I get concerned, what I see right now, super concerned about the clerk and the treasurer. The clerk has a workload like you wouldn't believe. Okay, probably right behind the auditor's office. Okay, the treasurer makes you millions of dollars. Now, unfortunately, not all treasurers are capable of that. But if you pay them less, you're less likely to get somebody capable. And I don't like sometimes the mentality that you have on elected officials. Well, they should, that be public servants. Well, you need to have it at a rate high enough to get somebody qualified to do the job. And if you look at Dan Gert in the treasurer's office, he's a perfect example. That man's made millions of dollars for you to spend. And right now he's being paid less than the recorder, and that doesn't make any sense to me. So just some things to think about as you're processing it. I don't think you should treat those elected officials equally, especially until you write them up. If you write those salaries up and get them in line, I think then you could give them the same percentage of raise in the future and be fine. But right now, I think you'd be doing yourself a disservice if you didn't at least get them in line where they should be. So.
Okay, so we're still on the clerk's budget. And,
I think we still have to decide as a matter of principle. And again, all good points. Christie's point about attending to the taxpayer dollar is important. I think Todd's point about value of leadership, I mean, it is important. The problem is that what happens if you have a bad treasurer? It's an elected position. All of us were elected. We ran for a position knowing that this is what the pay was. This is what the responsibility is. We asked for this. I mean, it's kind of like Rob's point. The clerk ran to be the clerk, knowing what the responsibility was. On the other hand, if we're out of range relative to, that review of what it's like, what pay positions are like in other counties. Christy, you put some of those comparisons
a few
down
years ago, but then we had
a
couple years of raises, but then never. I think that was one of the things you came on wanted to do.
I did do it and nothing happened with it.
What was that?
Kind of an adjustment of
Comparing salaries for
Salaries.
Madison County elected officials to other counties.
Yeah.
You did that, didn't you just
Yeah,
do that recently?
Yeah. I don't know if I have it with me, but I handed that out the last.
I mean, that's something really not, I don't know that we can do this
But,
budget
oh,
Well,
session.
do we
but
wanna
this,
come back to
at the,
that-
at the
that
present time, I mean, that's part of the dilemma.
Yeah.
That's why I just,
But that's something to take on in February or March of next year and look
yeah,
at,
I mean, there could be a
you know,
salary
kind of having
review.
a setting up
Yeah.
for,
I'm not
the
sure this is
following
the
year.
time to be trying to figure that out.
Okay, so I guess my question is then, let's not look at changing it necessarily, but on the elected official and the chief deputy, do we want to put that into the election budget, a $5,000 stipend in there instead?
So are we going back to the clerk's budget right now?
Yeah, I'm still at the clerk's budget.
I mean, they'll get it either way, but if that was the purpose for an additional stipend, then you guys see it the same way, don't you? Especially during an off election year, are they really entitled to that stipend, or is it all 4 years?
So what she said about her chief deputy is it's an exempt position, so she's salaried and should receive a higher compensation to account for supervising 18 deputy clerks along with the necessary overtime work for both clerk work and election work. Many hours are demanded from the chief deputy for successful elections without any place for compensation in the election budget. The 5,000 increase is supported from a position of the 37,503 that the camera operator that she eliminated from the clerk's budget. So does that sound like it's just an election issue, or if it's,
Sounds like that's part of it.
that's part of it? We could split it. We could put 250 in the election budget and we could put 250 in this one.
2,500.
Yes, that's what I meant. Just seeing if you guys are listening or not.
I'm
Paying
paying
attention.
So can we make a decision on this?
I'm fine splitting it up.
I'm good with that.
Okay, so what I want you to do, Sam, is I want you to are we gonna take it out of both that and the elected official and put that 2,500 in the election budget? Is that what we're doing? What makes that change?
Yeah.
Is that what we're doing?
That's what I thought.
Okay,
You're saying take 2,500 out of each of those?
yes, and put it in the election budget.
Yes.
Okay, so I want you to reduce that by 2,500.
Both elected and chief deputy.
Yes, and then we're gonna put that into, I'm just gonna remember to. Handy dandy note.
You guys put me on the spot.
I wouldn't do that in my head. God knows how that feels, right? Being put on the spot.
I think we still have to make a determination about the rest of these raises.
For now, can we just leave it and that'll be a discussion we'll have in September? Somebody else needs to look into it.
I think it's hard to move forward without knowing.
Well, we can move
Unless-
forward on everything else. There's a lot of other issues in the budget that we need to resolve tonight. Come back to those.
One thing too, Dr. Green, regarding your email and the thought process behind the cut is when I looked at it, I wanted to reduce that employee and get that 5% that you were looking for, redistribute in the office. Okay. But my goal was to not only redistribute that and pay my people more to take on additional responsibilities to absorb that employee's work, but my goal was to come in with a reduction in my budget for you. So you not only don't have to fund my 5% raise in my office, I'll fund it. And you can use your growth money to fund other departments. So you wouldn't have to worry about my 5% raise because I'm going to take care of it within my budget. I'm going to eliminate that position, spread it around. Yeah, I put 10% across the board, still came in at a reduction in budget. But if you think about it, you don't have to pay for my 5% raise. I've already taken care of that. you can worry about the other people that couldn't cut their budget. So it's something to kind of,
I think that's what we had talked about,
Thank
kind of not,
right.
but we never decided what's appropriate. I mean, the fact that it was still $5,700 on the positive. I mean, going through each line item, I trusted, or I would hope that she knows best. I don't know that we know best of who, I don't even know who's in that position. I couldn't argue that that person does more or less. I don't know how we would do that, go through each one of those.
Well,
I think that's her job.
Yeah,
on the
that's,
clerk's budget, she didn't do, even a 5% on some of them. So that needs to be taken into consideration when we do the 5%.
okay. Well,
And I think that's where what Dr. Green keeps bringing up is until we set the precedent, it's hard to move forward without knowing exactly how we're going to handle the 5% raise and the 5% cuts.
Well, I can tell you this, there's a lot of departments that this is not an issue with, that we even have to deal with it. So my thought is, let's get through the ones we can get through tonight and we'll back to the other ones that we can't. Make sense? Like,
Okay.
if we go to the treasurer's office, I took out all this, I mean, there's salary increases in here, for the treasurer. I need all those, all those 10% taken out, if you would please. I want it back to what it was, because he didn't redistribute anything. And then we'll be able to see what that, I don't think he did. Let me see. He took part-time. No notes in here, so. I don't know.
Yeah, he dropped part-time. Bumped.
He also, under
Bumped
services and
communication
charges up
transport, other,
82.
yeah. No explanation for the bump increases.
No, it's just in there. Be able to do that, Sam?
We're
On the
gonna reduce all of
treasurer,
it.
on the treasurer, I need those 10% increases taken
How
out.
would you like to address his deficit within his part-time line, or are we just addressing
Well,
the increases in the
let's-
full-time?
I don't think that he redistributed. Does he have comments in there on yours?
There are no comments, but
Okay.
he creates an $8,500 deficit in his part-time line over the 26 current, which is a 35% reduction, which then technically brings his overall salary and wage lines within the general fund. Instead of a 10% raise that he's placed on all of his full-time lines, he's actually only increased his salary portion 5.84%. So about half of that's covered through his part-time line reduction, if that puts it in a layman's term.
But his budget is almost $27,000 over budget.
That's correct.
Um,
The rest of that,
So my point is, I don't have $27,000 just to, I don't have that.
right, and I don't disagree with you. I just want the guidance as to whether I'm adjusting the part-time line as well as the full-time lines.
Well, I don't know why he reduced the part-time line. Like I said, there's no note in here. I don't know if he reduced it and redistributed it. And if that's the case, then we can have a conversation about that. But you can't redistribute it and then make your budget go up. Does that make sense?
Yeah, what he did is he dropped the part-time 8,500, but he increased the communication, transport, and other services and charges 11,200. So that one could certainly make an argument that the part-time didn't even cover the change in communication, transport, and other services and charges, and which didn't even begin to approach salary change.
I mean, you can redistribute funds if you're under budget,
Right.
but if you're over budget, that doesn't work.
Without the salary increases, his now updated is a total increase over the prior year, $2,950. His part-time line, the deficit of $8,500 will cover the $8,200 increase in his other services and charges, with the other $250 coming from an increase. And so realistically, your only increase after that would be communication and transport.
Yeah, and if we put
That's the
communication and
postage,
transport
so
back to
Todd
square,
just-
we would be even.
We have it, Todd just reminded us, that's for postage. He's required to send out.
No, I'm okay that it's over budget a little bit. That's not my
Yeah.
problem. I'm okay with, I understand we have to increase some of these lines. So right now, what's the total that he's over?
His total increase of the prior year within the county general is $2,950.00.
So is there a reason why I'm in this and it won't update? So it won't update unless I get out and come back
You
in?
would just have to refresh your page.
Okay. Okay. All right. So I think I'm fine with leaving that at where it's at right now. To see where we're at the end. Does that make sense?
Okay.
So let's move on to the recorder. I just need you to take the,
Those increases.
yep, I think it's just her.
Yeah, she's the only one within the general.
Yep.
All of her employment staff is paid from the.
While we're on that, I spoke to her earlier today and, you know, she has the sworn statement that she has to bring before us and the ordinance. Seems like we always kind of forget that and it almost gets missed.
She
Is
just
that
needs,
some-
she needs to
can we
submit
bring
it
it-
at budget time.
Can we, next month?
She
She just-
normally brings it in October.
Yeah, just when we pass
Bring
the
it
budget,
to-
that's
so
when it needs to be
Go ahead and
passed.
have her
Yep, it
do
needs
the
to just be part
ordinance,
of it,
have
yep.
the ordinance ready. Okay.
That should make her whole like zero, right? You're making me dizzy, Sam.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah, she should, within the general fund, a zero, it's a wash over current.
Okay, thank you. All right, the sheriff, I want to skip the sheriff, I want to skip the jail, and I want to skip MCCC for a minute. Sorry, guys. Well, I guess we could look at it. We're gonna have to take some totals here. So.
Don't mind, before you guys jump into it, just as a quick reminder, they did input no increases outside of their index.
Right.
So their salary lines just see the, what's within there.
Longevity.
Yeah.
I'm looking at this.
Oh,
Oh, okay, I see
are
what
are
you're
we
doing.
on the sheriff?
Yeah, yeah.
I have a quick question, Sheriff, while she's thinking about this. I noticed the jail navigator pay is added into this. Is that coming out of the county general or is that coming out? That's the opioid. Yeah.
That line's the opioid line.
Yeah.
You look
So-
at the number.
Yeah,
So
the-
1237 instead of 1,000.
Oh,
It's, I see it.
I can speak to that, Dr. Green.
so it's in your budget, but it's not in the county general.
Right.
But it's
not
it's
actually-
it's listed under the county general.
That position was created before that miscellaneous fund was added to ClearGov, so that was added as a placeholder. So we would just reduce that amount from their general.
So
Okay,
when
so-
you're totaling that, does that total into his totals at 50,000?
Yes, and I mean, I know on my Excel sheets, I remove it, so I can get you a removal for it.
Yeah, I was gonna say that should be
Zero
removed
right
then.
now.
Yeah, if you could just remove that. Thank you, sorry, thank you
Yeah.
for clarifying that.
Yeah, the line, when you look at it on the line, the number, it's
I
under
see
that.
that. It just, this, we're dealing with all county general stuff, and so it's like, wait a minute, that, okay. All right, that was really the only question I had.
So my question then, when it shows county general, the difference is 726,000 plus. Is that including that jail navigator then in that?
No. Should not.
Not be including it, right? I don't know how this thing adds. Because it used to show me two lines for each department, and it would show me the overall increase with both their budgets, and then,
It depends on how you have it filtered, those road groups at the top. So right now, for instance, I have the fund, then the location, and the expense type. So within the general fund, we are looking at the sheriff numbers, all of his lines totaled, now that we've removed that navigator, has a total and then the difference of increase and then the percent of increase over what it's comparing itself to, which is the 26 amended.
Okay, so what do you show the sheriff's increase?
Currently, after we made that adjustment, plus 676,558.
Yep. It's the number on our list minus 50. It's that minus 50.
You just say me that number again.
676,558 and 6.
6?
6 cents.
Yeah, that's when I export from Lao. Any actual numbers are calculated based off actual claims, and so it doesn't round.
So 607655806.
676.
676.
558.
676,558
Oh, so okay.
$558.
Got it.
That's the difference.
That's
Yep.
the
Yeah.
difference.
That's what I want. Okay, so we can, so you're telling me that it's, and I think Kim also portrayed to me that she got it down. So it was just that longevity was the
Yes.
only increase?
And as we scroll down through here, you just see their longevity increases. If you look at the percentages,
Right.
because we have it compared to 26 amended, which already includes the merit increase that you guys voted on at the beginning of the year, you just see the percentages in not even a full percent of increase. Dollar amount as per what they already said they had done.
Okay. So we'll come back, once I have those other two numbers, I'm gonna total it out and see where we're at. It should be what you say, so. So is there anything else you have a question about on the sheriff's department?
Sheriff and jail or sheriff? Just the
Just the
sheriff.
sheriff, we haven't gotten that far yet. Okay, next is the surveyor. The only increase in the surveyor. Why does it look so much? Oh, does he have, no?
So they have the 10% over.
Within the
in
surveyor,
there.
there is currently a 10%.
Yep, I need all those taken out, please. Other thing that we had to deal with was. That was the surveyor that had the, board members.
Yes. Per diem or whatever it was, yeah. It was 7,500. They were doubling it. Voter registration already put their 5% in.
So did the coroner.
Their county general, the only longevity line, so their increase is a total dollar amount of $375 increase over 20.
Okay, perfect. And then next is the coroner. He also put a 5% increase in the two employee lines. I know we need to have some discussion about part-time. He said he was paying him 16 an hour right now?
15.
15, and he would like to pay him
18.
18?
We were negotiating. He said he would
Settle for 17.
prefer that, but he would settle.
'20%. Whatever settle me.
Up to $17 an hour,
You know.
is a 20% increase? Well, we can't do 18.
It's about $6,000 per dollar an hour.
Because we haven't had to get to this point.
Sorry, what'd
That's
you
it.
say?
For every dollar per hour,
Mm-hmm.
it's about 6,500.
Okay, so if we
So if
did,
we went from 15 to 16, it would be 6,500. If we went from 16 to 17, it would be 13.
so we
Your
need to
neck's
have some
gonna be sore
discussion
by
if we
the
want to
end of the
raise that
meeting.
to 17 an hour. And what that increase looks like, because it's not going to be as much as what he's asking. Correct? That's all he pays out of there, right?
That's all he pays out of there. So I believe that's the case. I mean, he has a note right here. Let me look at it. Yeah. Oh, that's actually my error. He says 17
He
here. When he
does.
came to talk to us, it was 18,
Yeah.
but he moved it to
I
17.
just saw the note too. Same
Yeah,
time you
so
did.
so it's actually 10,000 per dollar.
What's before?
Well, in other words, 17 is a $20,000 increase. So 16 would be a $10,000 increase.
Whatever we do with the other employees, I think we should do the same. But I was thinking probably do $1, even if we did $1
Well-
increase. $1.50,
The percent plus $1.
like a 5% plus $1. Is that what you're thinking?
No, that's what you just, I'm repeating
Yeah,
what you
we're
said.
asking for clarification.
For clarification, well, I think when I figured it out, I think it was like, let me see here.
That 5% would be 75 cents on $15. Actually,
So if I took a 5% increase on the 125,000, that was $6,250.
2% or
I'm sorry?
I can do that in this, or I can make this do that for us. He'd had a 16% increase in there. If you do just a 5% increase on that 125,000, you'd be looking at 131,250. So an increase of 6250.
Okay, so I'm not opposed to doing maybe a little bit more than a 5% there. What do you guys think? I mean, a 5% is what we are looking at doing for the other employees anyways.
Right.
I would bump it $1.50.
Yeah, because I think 5% it's like 80 some cents on
Yeah,
the
I
dollar.
would bump it $1.50 and then not include that in the 5%. I mean, that 5% is inherent in that.
So what is that looking like? I just can't do the math.
15,000.
15,000 total
Roughly.
increase? Okay, so can we reduce that from 20 to 15,000 as the increase? And then let it calculate its own percentage?
$15,000. Wait,
You did
15.
didn't you?
Oh, yeah.
Did you?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
15, 'cause it was
Are we good with that
125.
as a council? Anybody not good with that? Speak now or forever hold your peace.
What is the percentage increase? I can't see.
What is that percentage
Is
increase?
it 12?
12?
Sorry, I'm hovering over.
That's okay. There it is.
So you reduced from the requested amount of 16% down to 12%. So it's a 4% cut off of the requested to where it sits current.
Actually, my intention was to make that
10%?
10%. My math wasn't right. Sorry.
Honestly, neither was mine when you said $1.50. I put it 7.5%.
Yeah,
So we'll meet in the middle at 10.
yeah.
That would put you at 137,500. So an increase total of 12,500.
Okay. And then let me see, employee uniforms was a minor increase and nothing in office supplies. Trading supplies, no.
Had any other increase?
Yeah, that's pretty much
Professional
it.
services, he pulled it back down, I think, to what it was.
That's correct.
Sam, can you make a note that if we do a 5% for everybody, that's already included in that line? So that doesn't get added.
Okay, assessors next. Okay, so there's 10% increases in almost every one of those. Those need to be taken out. Assessor.
Okay. We never talked about that 75,000.
No, we didn't talk about that.
I would be inclined to pull that because he's just guessing
Yep.
what that's going to be, and we can deal with that when it comes to it.
That does include more than just that reassessment contract that professional services does. I had a conversation with Larry earlier. That includes the beacon services that they use for the property records, legal services for appeals.
Does any of that increase?
Well, I mean,
It's all inclusive of the professional services line.
yeah, these
Yeah.
are all separate things other
Right.
than that contract.
So
But
the $75,000 increase, what was that for?
well, it's an estimate of what they think that it's going to go up. I'm not saying they necessarily need to fund the full 75,000, but it is more than just that contract.
But is there anything else in there that he thinks besides the contract?
Well,
Or was the 75,000?
Has he indicated it anyway?
it's hard to predict because it's a lot of it's based on appeals and bringing in, legal services for those appeals, expert witnesses to testify.
So that's stuff that's in flux every year.
Yes, right. But it's based on what he expects. So I don't know if 0 is the
Well,
best
if we took it
option
down
there.
to 625,000, we could put a note on there that possibility that his contracts might go up.
If you look on Turner did put a note on there addressing that they're anticipating or expecting a 3%, or at minimum a 3% increase. The contract for reassessment is out for bid. So I think at that point they're forecasting. But would you like to reply to that comment?
Do we know what 3% is?
They've got it projected at 12. So
1,750.
That with the increase of 3%.
Calculator,
I mean,
right?
that's not a, no, the comment was through, vendors are gonna increase their services, but they don't know how much, but I'm expecting at least 3%. The 3% would be, like 20,000 would cover, more than cover 3%.
Yeah, I think that's a good place to start.
Was that 3% of the total?
That was 3% of 625,000.
Yeah,
Okay, so what are we changing that to?
Wasn't it 625, so it'd be
You said 20,000,
645.
Dr. Green.
I would change it,
645?
to 20, yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
645.
Because that then accommodates for an expected increase, but
That leaves
75,
room.
if, again, it feels like it's
A
a
lot.
lot, and if it's a situation where there's a legal or a requirement to
We'll
demand
handle
more,
that.
we'll deal with that as it comes, I think,
Yeah.
you know. Once it's appropriated, then that's where I want to transfer it from here to there, and, you know.
Yeah.
And the last line he increased was his other services for conference fees. Doesn't that come out of the elected officials fund?
But these would be for,
Assessor?
Assessment.
that would be for the continuing education for,
Oh yeah, we talked about this during the last meeting.
One, I kind of disagree with the SBO guidance, because if you read the statute, it talks about county elected officials fund, and the assessor is clearly an elected official, but he's not one that they code into that fund. There's only a handful of people, the clerk, the auditor, the treasurer, the surveyor, and the council.
The recorder
Okay.
in there as well.
I don't think the recorder's in there. I'd have to look for you. But so the SBOA doesn't group them in here. But if you read the statute, I think the statute's clear that it's a county elected officials training fund.
So the statute only lists certain people.
And the assessor's not one of those.
But this is also for those who are working on their level 3 classes and their continuing education. They're required to have 30. Yeah, it's the comments up there. 30 continuing ed credits in a 2-year period.
We have seen just a few new investments within that department just in the last. That's what their intention is here, is to ensure that they have the continued education credits needed in order to perform the job duties for the constituents.
And that's one where they're losing people to other counties that pay considerably more. And so that turnover, then that means you get people trained at level 3 and then they leave. And then you got to pay to train more to get to that level.
So are we good with leaving that then the way it is? So what's the overage on that account? Because you took out the pay raises and you changed that other line. So what are we at now?
Your new overall difference within the county general fund is an increase of $29,350. It's 2 point.
Okay, can we move on to the prosecuting attorney? Okay, so I told you, Dr. Green, that I would give you a number.
Fire away.
I'm looking, hold on, one more time. Okay, so if I take the salaries of the prosecuting attorney and I take out the 2 new positions, 5% increase is $90,180.
That's the number. I did the addition myself. I got about 90, so. So to pay for the attorney.
Yeah.
Or pay for the new attorney.
Yeah.
If they didn't get raises.
I'm just gonna be honest, when they got those positions, I was pretty clear about, I didn't want to fund new positions. But I'm one of 7, so you all need to make a decision on if we're gonna.
Say that again, Jody.
I said I thought I was pretty clear when they asked for the ARPA funds that I was not willing to fund new positions.
I think I was clear about that too, and I think they were clear that it was a long-term need and we would deal with it when we got there.
And we're there.
And here we are.
Trying to deal with
We
it.
are.
So your thoughts on that, Bethany?
Principle, I say no. But I do know they need them.
I think we all agree with that.
It is a dilemma. I mean,
But where do we go?
they're a significant clog in the public safety wheel. You know, I mean,
Are there any other funds they have available that they could fund that out of?
Cost of everything. I think
and I think
They do a really good job about pulling
they've
money from their
granted
funds.
and
Yeah.
all kinds of things, you know.
How much are they over right now? Do they have 5% increases? They do, don't they? Can you please take those out? I don't know why some of my departments can't follow directions, but oh well.
This is a tangent, and we don't have to get into it now if you want to wait. But as far as like the ARPA money goes, I always was under the impression that it should be used for projects and that it was not to be used for things that were going to have reoccurring costs. But we also now have a park, and we're going to have to look at how we're going to fund like the Parks and Rec going forward.
I
So
pretty much told the Parks Board that until we get our lit funds and
Okay.
they're kind of screwed.
I just want to be consistent.
Sorry.
So, and we
Probably
can talk
wasn't a
about
very-
that more later, but I just want to be consistent. So if we're, if we are going to continue funding other ARPA projects, then we need to give more consideration to the prosecutor's office as well.
Well, and I'm afraid that's where we're gonna get into with the opioid funds too, because those are just going to keep decreasing over the years and then disappear.
Well, I agree with you. But I do think it's a good use of those funds right now. To be able to implement some things. And I do believe that once we get to that lit structure, that we're gonna be okay. Does that make sense to be able to fund some of those things in the future?
We just need to remember to take a look at it once that time gets here. Will you remind us?
Sure. I'll come back and I'll remind you.
Put a note.
Yeah.
I'll put it in my calendar.
That's
Set an
right.
alarm in your calendar. I'll be like, why is my alarm going
I
off?
know,
Why
I'm
does it say I
public-
need to attend the county council meeting?
On public comment, we have Jody North.
There we go.
I told you so.
Good luck, guys.
I'm in favor of keeping those positions. I know that anything that was reoccurring in ARPA funds, we didn't like, but I remember that maybe we'll be able to do away with them, maybe we won't, maybe there'll be another mechanism. We don't know what's 4 years out.
I'm sorry? What's the total he's over now?
His total over now is 133,327. But I will note
That's those two
that that's
positions.
including that 90,000, those two ARPA funds.
That's
There was
the
a
two
decrease
positions,
in one
yeah.
of his other pay lines. That's the only change.
Yeah, he had a couple of things that increased, but then he had a decrease in witness and reporting fees that, and so it ends up being a wash with most everything else. We're just left with those two positions to be the increase.
We can leave them for now. Once we get to the bottom and we realize where we're at, we can always make the determination.
I would agree with that.
Okay, 4D program. Why I am.
They just had all the 5%.
Another department that couldn't understand what I asked them to do. Please delete the 5% increases. Somebody said to me, well, if we don't ask, we don't get it. I'm like, well, when you ask, when I don't want you to put it in there, it makes me mad.
You can always decrease the department head's budget or salary.
Yeah, we
because they
could do
can't
that,
follow
couldn't we?
directions.
Yeah.
They can buy Sam lunch. He'd have a year full of lunches.
This will be good because then we can see what our total overall budget is.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Do we know what revenue target we're aiming for?
I gave that to you guys.
Did we decide on if it was the point?
I asked Todd
04?
about that and he's not heard anything different, so we're gonna stay at the 0.4.
What's at 0.4?
Well, Todd had heard some rumor that maybe they'd let us go to the maximum levy, which was like 0.5. When will they make a decision on that, Todd?
November.
September? When did you say?
I would think they'd have to do it pretty soon.
Well, yeah, usually it's.
So within the next 60 days.
It's mid-August. Yeah.
My safety issue.
Okay, so you got all those
We
up?
got that squared?
Okay, so where are we at?
There was an increase of $1,000 in the rental
Yeah.
line, and an increase of $387.50.
Okay.
That's it.
Now, the county, is that where we, no, are we on 4D program?
was 4D.
Yeah, sorry, my
4D.
bad. Okay, county election board. I know that, pretty sure that she, on her comment here, that $3,000.
For the
She
director?
took part of the revenue that was left over from the clerk's budget and put part of it there. Camera operator.
Went into which one?
Remember in the clerk's
Right.
The
budget?
director.
Where did it go?
So on the county election board, the director. Now, this is where I kind of talked about, we talked about adding those two lines to this. We talked about adding a line
There's a
for the
whole lot of
clerk
order
and for
from
the
us.
chief
We're going
deputy
in
for
line.
2,500.
He could probably click a button and fix it for you. That's super
Is
confusing.
that good to do that there, guys?
I would need a guidance on where to put your deputy director. What line are we using? Because they don't match. Within the clerk's fund, it's line 11002. What's the corresponding line within the election board you would like that placed?
Can we make up one?
Add one within this.
And it could actually be, if you wanted it, I mean, it could be just one line, I guess, but it'd probably be better if it was separated out, don't you think?
Yeah, I would think
You're
so.
talking about this, like stipend?
Yeah, the $2,500 stipend for the
Election
clerk and-
stipend?
Yep, the clerk and the chief deputy. Something I can help you with? Can I help you with any?
No, I had a brain fart. Originally, ClearGov has a delimiter that's a hyphen, and here recently we've been doing any edits with the decimal, which is what we use in house. So I just
Gotcha.
wanted to-
No, it's all good.
Don't mind.
Yes, and then I also need one of those for,
I've already added it on.
oh, you added them both in?
Yep.
You are quick.
You guys were discussing it earlier.
Oh, sweet, okay.
You're almost as smooth as Jody is with this software.
Oh, don't even, he's way smoother. That's sarcasm. I'm not smooth with
Now we
this at
know
all.
where you can work after
Okay,
you're
so
done
the
with
only
it.
other
Yeah, that's
increase
right.
she had
This is your
was the
next job.
longevity, and the clerk's budget was 1,000 for the clerks for the election. And then the professional services, which I don't think we have any choice but to, it's a contract that's gonna have to be funded. So any other discussion about that budget? Yes, no?
What's the Star Bank lease agreement
Where are you at?
on the comment for professional services?
Budget?
Uh-huh.
Professional
Voting
services?
equipment. There's several comments. There's one that says. Bank lease agreement, voting equipment, 114,712.
What is that, Todd? It says Star Bank lease agreement, voting equipment, Oh, is that where our loan is through?
Yes.
Okay, yes, we're still paying on our, election stuff, equipment. Okay, so is there anything else under county election? If not, moving on to data processing. Thank you. Someday our money tree will grow in the backyard.
They had a couple of things. I just didn't. They're just moving all of their repairs, maintenance, and rentals into their other services and charges. Is that what was happening there?
So Jody.
Salaries.
Yeah, if you, I mean, Repairs and maintenance dropped 169,000 and rentals dropped 247,000.
Are you the, Bethany, are you the liaison?
I am. And you can go into the comments because there was
I didn't see any.
I don't see any
That's-
comments.
over. Oh, sorry, that was the history. Well, there are comments because I put comments on it.
Oh,
Well, let's see, and there's no comments. I definitely commented on this.
oops.
Well,
I'm not sure where it
Dr.
went
Green's
here. Hold
not
on.
seeing comments.
Which one was it on?
It was on all three of them.
So can you tell me on the repairs and maintenance? Well, you know what? Maybe they are there. Huh? They're not. Okay.
I don't.
So they dropped at 169,000. What are they doing there?
Sorry, he had responded and he had added justifications on them, and I don't remember what it was, but it was a clean wash. So like it was intentional to drop both of those and to increase the other services and charges.
Which one was it? Was it the rental?
The rentals and repairs and maintenance.
There was a classification change, which is subscription. The classification moved from rentals to the 39,000.
Yeah, that's right.
And they're taking that money, putting it in 39 for the IT services.
Okay. Perfect.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I remembered I looked at it. I was like, oh, that makes sense. I don't have any more questions, and I
Yeah.
didn't remember enough to explain it, so I'm sorry.
So where are they at once you take those salary
All the rest of
increases
it
out?
should be pretty square.
An increase of $525.
Yeah.
I like it. Okay, prosecutor, victims advocate. Got taken out, please. Office supplies and operating supplies each went up 100%.
There is, they have attached to their comparison of their VOCA 24 to their VOCA 26. They have that, I believe.
I see it. So it just talks about their award. Not a huge increase, I just,
Monetarily.
right. Was there anything else on the prosecutor's victim advocate? The youth center was what, $1,500, is that it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we don't even, I don't think we need to look at that, do we? CASA was no increase, planning commission, okay, I need to talk with you guys about the planning commission. I've been working with Larry on that, because remember, part of their funding is going into the building fund, and I asked them to determine which of their budgeted items could be paid out of that fund. It generates around $200,000 in income, and we moved over 172,591, which gives them some wiggle room in there in case they don't bring in that much funding or whatever. So the following lines are going to be moved out of the general fund. The first one is line, let's see here. the 11616. So have you guys already set up that account? You have, right, Todd?
That fund. Fund fees.
I don't recall whether it's been completed within Lao.
Probably is.
January, yeah.
I would need to add that at least to ClearGov.
So should I just have you take it out of the budget today and then give you a list of what those are? I think I have it with me.
If you do, then yeah, I can get that uploaded, so we have a good final.
I can email it to you if nothing else, but I do have it.
Be great.
Okay, I will make a point to get that to
So
you.
that's on the total?
Yeah, we're taking out,
So 322 minus 170 something?
yeah,
Is that what you're saying?
yeah,
Okay.
But you're also subtracting the revenue.
yes, we lost the revenue.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, I know, and it's never as funny.
That's why you get to lose the expenses, because the revenue's going somewhere else.
Email,
Okay.
So it's really a walk.
it's a wash, yep.
Sure. I got it.
For the sake of time, they are existing lines that show within ClearGov currently. We can remove them so you have a better idea of what that dollar amount's gonna look like.
That's what I'm hoping.
It's at 11616.
Yes, okay, yes. 11616, yes. And then skip the next line, and then the one for 49,155,
That's the 11708.
that one comes out. And then the one for 52,669 right underneath that. And then skip all the way down to the, it's communication and transportation. It's $889. And then the one underneath that, printing and advertising for 400.
Alex.
What? And then repairs and maintenance of 1,544 can come out. Rentals, 2,752. Other service and charges for 23,000. And machinery and equipment for 400.
Sounds like Jeopardy. Machinery and equipment.
It's a game show, guys.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, you made the joke first. Okay. I was like, Alex, man. He actually beat you to the joke, but nobody got it.
Oh, she said something.
He said, "Okay, Alex."
Oh,
And
is
then
that
I
what
was
he
like,
talking
over
about?
all of our, I know all of us heard you. We're like, all right,
That's
Rob's
what that,
mumbling.
yeah, okay, yeah.
Rob's mumbling again. No, it's funny. Thank you.
Okay. That should be it for planning commission. Yep, they need to take out their increase there on the first line. $5% increase.
That's after it's removed. There's no
It's
other
longevity.
Right,
losses and losses
right.
within
Yeah, okay,
longevity.
yes, okay. Okay, Madison County Correctional, I just needed to know that number.
As it stands right now, they've made no changes, so it's what we had discussed the other day. It's 1,059,872 in reduction over prior.
Does that sound right, David? Okay. All right. All right, Veteran Services is down 168, or 1,648, sorry. So we don't need to do anything there. Weights and measures, we need to take out the salary increase in there.
Feel better, I put this one in.
That makes sense. He had some other increases and some other things, but. You looking for a name?
But that's okay.
Yeah, no, I can't look at it. I just can't look at it.
You also see increases within office supply, repair, and maintenance, as well as other services and charges. Without the salary request.
It's $1,000.
Yeah, 1,000.
Emergency management. They reduced one of their salary lines.
They cut out the administrator.
Yeah.
And then they reapportioned.
It in somewhere else in their
Yeah.
budget. Is that right? They're down 15,000?
So they're actually up a net 5,000.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense. Oh, they're up 5,000. I'm looking at the wrong
Yeah,
line.
they're up 5,000.
Yeah, their total request within the general is up 5,000, but their 1,000 series for their salaries and wages
Yeah.
is down 15,000.
Do we want to look at on there?
They're
We've taken out their increase and their 5% in there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Did you take out the 5% increases in that one?
that actually puts them square.
Okay, perfect. I emailed her today because I'm slightly confused. So she said that they reduced one line by $7,606, but it really only reduced by $5,526. And they redistributed those funds, like 2,000 here, 2,000 there, to 3 different lines. So gonna have to redo it. I mean, either that or she's gonna have to reduce, either that or we can reduce that line by $7,606, like she redistributed. Your thoughts on that? Everybody, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, it's a little confusing because the 5% is in there.
Yep, we
But
need
then
the
she
5% taken
added
out.
then other thing, an additional to some of the positions from the one that she.
Right.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
she didn't cut it as much as
But
she
she didn't
redistributed.
cut as much as she increased, right? Yeah. That's,
So either we have to
Yeah.
reduce what she's applied to the pay lines, or we need to reduce the line that she said she reduced by the proper amount that she said she reduced. Does that make
Yeah,
sense?
without her being able to answer.
So either we can leave this budget, but it needs fixed.
Yeah,
But there
she
needs
just
I think
needs
we
to
need
take
a
the
little more
5%
input.
out.
But there needs to be some conversation. So they received one of the positions for $33,693, which was no. I think they got this wrong. How much was that position that you gave them? It was 40 something, wasn't it? Okay, I don't know which. She said that it's the line that's 33,693, but that's not right. Well, she originally had.
no,
He's got the line
it's
right.
the maintenance custodian number 2.
What line is what?
That is, yeah, 11732. That's 33,693.45 from 0. Like it's the new position.
But that's not right because it's actually 41,424 is what actually is coming over. Part of it came over last year. The rest of it's coming over this year because last year part of it MCCC spent on that position. Then they transferred it over to her.
Right.
Okay, so it's actually 41,424. But I'm not really sure. I think she said that the position they transferred over is number 13105. Am I correct?
13105.
Yeah.
That's maintenance mechanic 5. That's 43,4. That's another. That's
And
a
it says this is
16,000.
the transferred maintenance position from MCCC.
That's that one.
That's what the
Oh,
note
there it
says.
is. Yeah, there it is.
Okay, so it needs to
That's
be
the 41 plus 5%.
Okay,
That's
so
what that is. Yeah.
yeah, so we need to change that to
13105 is the.
okay, so it's 41,424. So that's a wash from that. So that's not an issue. But then we have to do something with the 3 lines that she transferred funds from the 1 line because it's not correct. So that's got to be corrected. And she can correct that. I did email her and I don't think I've heard back from her. I'll have to look. And then the last thing is they're wanting to take one of their part-time positions, make it a full-time position, which
I think that was the other one, actually.
yes. So it's
Yeah,
line,
Part-time is 15,000.
yeah, it's 11732.
That's
So they transferred 19,638 from the part-time money to that position line, but it's short.
and they're saying,
They're 12,451.
requesting an additional 12,451
We can leave that open for discussion after we get to the end of everything.
and a 5% increase.
Yes, I know. We can leave that for discussion for later, but we're gonna have to come back to this budget. But did you take all the raises out, the 5% increases?
Because of the way it's distributed amongst, I hadn't touched theirs yet because she's done so much through it. I can get with her in the morning and have it removed. If that's your guidance, or I could remove
Yes.
it all now. I worry that
Some are-
because she's worked it into some of these other lines, that if we go adjusting and zeroing out all those 5s, that we're gonna run the risk of actually underselling and underpaying.
I understand.
That's all.
So, I mean, I can talk to her or you can talk to her, but
She has a comment beside each one that's over 5%. So it's just really a matter of clarifying those.
So-
The 5% can be taken. The others, it's 5% plus something most of the time. Yeah.
so there's 3 lines that she increased by $2,000 plus dollars. That's more than what she actually pulled out of the line that she took it from. Does that make sense? Okay, she needs to clean
that's-
that up.
Got to square.
Because she's moved some money and then added 5% on top of it. Okay. Thank you. Took me a minute there.
Okay, so that's courthouse. Okay, jail. So the jail is.
Did you look at the operating supplies, $10,000?
courthouse?
Yeah.
Oh, and I texted her today or question or
That's
what
where
do
she
you-
was talking about the price of salt.
yes, that was one thing. And then
Yeah.
she also, one of them was for one was for 10,000 more and one was for
40,000
45.
utility service.
yes. And I want to know, she said she took on utilities from the youth center. You know what that's about? So my question is, if she's paying for utilities from the youth center, where was it being paid from before and where are those funds? Because if somebody is not having to pay those funds, that money needs to come over to their budget. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So you can see my little comments in there. So hopefully I'll hear back from her on that. So we will come back to the courthouse at another day. Okay, so then the jail.
Time's up.
Time's up.
Sorry, guys, you gotta stop. I was thinking the same thing.
Okay, the jail is 69,616,65 over. Yeah.
64,790.
Yeah. That's not what where are you looking?
you guys don't mind my asking, did you make adjustments today? Oh, well, shoot, maybe I just pulled, that's the only thing that would make sense to me.
That's
No,
not the number.
It's my bad. I'm
No,
looking,
it's-
I do, yeah.
Sam, I'm looking at the overall total.
Oh, I was afraid that what I pulled last night was a older screenshot.
So it's
Never mind.
664, 790, right?
Correct.
Thank you guys for squaring this.
What do you guys show as your sheriff over? Because I wrote the wrong number down. Is it 726,558?
Over?
726,
I
558?
believe it's 767 or 676. There it is, 676.
No, it's 676. You wrote it down.
Well, I did, but I wrote it down wrong.
76, 558.
558. Okay. Had an extra decimal in there. You don't want that. I knew it was wrong. And out of the Madison County transfer, I gotta take 41 out of that. Minus 40. So I still show, well, no, because, oh, you know what we forgot to do tonight, Todd? We need to get together on, I need to file that claim. Yeah. Yeah, so we're $322,900, but there's, 300,000 from, the, that we need to file a claim. Does that make sense? Right. You got 6,700 or 676,558 on the sheriff. I think I printed what you had. Yeah. And then the jail was 664,790. And then MCCC gave you 1,018,448. Well, his total was 1,059,872, and then I had to take off for the one position that went to the courthouse, which was 41,424, and I get 1,018,448. Oh, because you're saying that was already moved over last year? That's why it wasn't in your budget for this year? All right. Okay. So it would have been adjusted. Okay. I did, and I see what you did with the ones you transferred from MCCC, and then you took the part-time money that you transferred and put those into 2 full-time positions. Yeah. Okay, so you reduced your rentals by 200,000, reallocated funds to jail machinery. First contribution, 150. Those lines down. So on this sheet you gave me, this one here, what is $5,040,000? What is that? Oh, that's the total budget? Gotcha. Okay. Total budget amended, the difference, commission, the difference. So you get 18,650. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Does anybody have any questions about that? So based upon Kim's calculation, the only increase for the 2 budgets was the longevity, which was 18,650, and we said that was approximately how much that was. Everything else was leveled out. Questions, conversation, anything else on that?
Paula, where's the other 300? I think you guys already discussed it. Is it the commission or
Yes.
the commissary?
No, the 300 is the commissioners.
The commissioners.
Yes.
Okay. More appropriation.
Yeah. Okay, let's move on to the surveyor. Surveyor. Back to the sheriff.
We were on the.
We were on jail.
We've already done the survey. We're on registration.
Hey,
of
start
voters.
over. I'm just
I know.
seeing if y'all are paying attention.
She's restarting.
I'm restarting.
We're gonna go back to it. again.
Registration of voters.
Oh,
Comments.
Yep.
Those were left because they had comments. You want them pulled?
Please, because they were 5% increases, right? Yeah. Yes, you can leave. I'm sorry, I made you guys wait all this time.
You got to stay till we're done.
Nope. You're
We're
good.
hoping to find some more money and throw it back up here.
That'd be great.
thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Your only change in your 1,000 series is your longevity increase of $3 plus. So you're looking at communication, transport, other services charges, and machinery and equipment as far as operating increases.
Okay, so the other services and charges, is that where they wanted money for
That was the conference
conferences?
fees for all 4 employees called meetings by statute.
I do, but
gonna be good.
I'm trying to figure out how to phrase it.
Uh-oh.
These conferences, are they required for them to go to these conferences?
I don't know the answer to that question. I don't know if there's a state required or not.
What they said the other day is, it seemed like some of it is, but not all of it is, and not for all of them. That's. So
This is one of those-
I left a little unclear from.
You're not alone.
Yeah.
This is one of those departments where 4 months out of the year, they're busy. And then the rest, they're not. Got 4 employees in there and I don't know.
Have to have one from each party.
Yes, I know. I don't have a problem with that.
Used to be a lot more,
Really?
6 or 8 people up there.
I just. Any thoughts on that?
Question is specifically with regards to the conference.
Yes?
Okay.
There was a pretty significant increase. Communication transport, which I think is posted, essentially postage.
Yeah.
Postage costs have definitely gone up a lot. I don't think there's any question about that.
And they have to mail out the.
But it's a 70% increase
No.
year over year, which is pretty substantial.
Is that other services? No.
No, that's communication transport.
That's the commissioners.
That went from 5,000 to 8,500. Well, it struck me as a lot.
Without having totals, it's hard to know like
Itemized.
what to cut. If-
Where's our,
No,
where's our book?
I say we keep the training. I mean,
Jody, no buts.
it's only up 25.
No buts.
That's what I want to look at here. The last couple of years. Well, 26 is probably not going to be a very good.
Any year you want.
Let's look at 25 and 24.
Last year, we didn't have elections. Was it in 25? No, what year didn't we have elections? It was last year, right?
Last year.
Yeah.
So 25,
Well, they still probably would have had to mail things out though, right?
yeah, so the last
But
couple
next
of
year is
years.
going to be municipal elections, so favorable look would be 23.
And 23, are you guys talking about 39,000? Or are you talking
Yes,
about the
39.
Communication, yeah, the communication and
Oh.
Communications had in 23 a total budget actual at the end of the year 4745. 24 was 4950. 25 actual was $9,920.67. 26 it dropped back down to the 5,000. So it seems to be an increase regular across that trend.
Well, I'm thinking 25 was.
Why would it have been so high in 25?
That is interesting.
We didn't have elections in 25. I can't imagine they had
Was
us.
it transferred out to somewhere else?
I don't know. Oh, no, had it gone in there. You,
Up in what was amended. in
Yeah.
25. You adopted a $5,000 budget, likely because they were projecting an ending of 4950 and 24. Actual at the end of the year ended up being.
what if we gave them like,
I guess maybe we should put a comment in there and ask why it was so much that year, and if it's the same reason that it's projected to be this much higher this year, if it has any correlation to each other.
Postage rates just went up, didn't they?
They did again.
Yeah.
There was also within the comments left from that department, they reference an increase in additional mailers. It could have perhaps
Right.
been taken effect in 25.
Okay, so the only lines we have increases are posted communications, which went up 3,500. Other services went up 2,500. Machinery and equipment went up 8.
Machinery and equipment, they didn't have anything in and just,
I thought they said they were gonna take that out. Hold on a second.
I think they did say that actually. The other day when they were. here.
Yes, that line needs to be zeroed out to 0. Yeah, they
I thought
said,
you said 800.
no, 44 changed to 0. It was 800.
Because my note was 800.
That's not what I wrote down. I wrote down.
Yeah, I've got
4,400,
0 also.
changed to 0.
Mhm.
And I couldn't change it the other day when we were here because he had already opened it up for them to make edits to it, but then they didn't change that.
I'd pull 1,000 out of each of those other two.
So 1,000 less, where are you talking about?
I would
Other
make it
services?
2,500 and 1,500. Of communication, transport, and other services and charges.
I would rather leave that communication and transport where it is and just reduce it like the other by
Cut the
half
other
or
one?
something. Yeah,
Which one are
because
we cutting?
postage is
So
postage.
leave communication, transport 3,500 and cut the other one to 1,000.
What, the other services?
Other services and charges would be 2,500 instead of 4,000.
Oh, I see.
That would be a net $1,500 drop plus the 800.
Do you know what we want you to do there? On other services, make it 2,500 instead of 4,000. So where's that leave us?
Oh, net increase 3,500.
Oh, was that what it is?
Yeah, I think it's maybe.
Okay.
Okay.
County council. We reduced our budget by 2 million. Wow.
We're
I think we
good.
should put that back into the county council budget.
Can we
Spread that
redistribute
across.
and wages?
We're gonna
Somebody's getting increases.
I bet that he liked that
I'm
one.
not gonna be here next year.
I
know, I'm not either.
Actually, we're backtracking it to this year too. So
It's,
Why did-
it's retro.
Oh, it was the publishing. Got it, okay. Okay, county council, good. 40 clerk. I don't think. What's she doing here?
I guess the best time for rainy day fund usage is on a day like today.
And it's a rainy day today.
Okay, so she also
Wait
put
till
some
tomorrow.
increases in here.
Thursday.
Where are you, Joe?
I'm in the clerk's 40. So most of this one is, so the 40 clerk 2 is reimbursed. Huge portion of that is from her clerk's perpetuation fund, I think.
That first one says it's from camera operator.
Yeah, so she increased each one of these by a little bit from the revenue that she still had left over from the camera operator. I'd have to total all
Oh,
this.
so, yes, 5,200 we thought was going back to general, really got redistributed.
Yes,
So it was a 1-for-1.
yes. I don't think there was really anything else. Her longevity dropped $722. So how much is that budget gone up?
$2,145.
Okay, county commissioners, I do want to move $1 million out of the county general for the
Group insurance?
Yeah.
That's there,
Well, right now it's at 5.3 million.
right.
I want to move it down to 4.3 and I want to put $1 million back in the rainy day. I know we're going to have to. There's no question about it. And next year, if you get another lit distribution, you can always. And I think the only other increase they had was unemployment.
Liability.
Didn't see that before.
Retainer, yeah. That went up a fair bit. Unemployment went up pretty substantially. And this came out of a conversation where it's like, this, I mean, they have to, most of these
Yeah,
are
they
just,
get a
they
bill.
just,
They
they just
don't-
have to pay. And so,
The state determines what,
right, I mean, we don't have a lot of choice over a lot of this stuff. So it kind of comes down to, I told him, I said, well, there's an understandable uncertainty about what's going to be required. You just have to make your best guess. And so make your best guess. And that's what this is. So
Can we see what was spent out of that the last couple of years? Yeah.
23 actual 0. 417 517 957 524,000 3492. Oh no, that's adopted. Hang on. Your actual in 24 went from 17,124 to 24 3492.
So they spent 24,000 and 25?
Mm-hmm.
the actual expenditures have been consistently under 30. Well, I'd put it back to 30. And if we need it, we'll have to.
Unemployment was 17, almost 18,000. They're asking for
do you know what we spent
53,000.
year to date?
Yeah, I'm trying to. That one I don't.
That's the unemployment. That's just
That's
such
unemployment.
a huge jump.
Yeah.
You don't have any way of knowing what they've spent so far this year, right? It's not in that program, right?
They just
pretty close.
recently asked for more for in there, didn't they?
That amended.
So what is their amended amount?
Current
18.
About 18,000.
So
do
that's
36,000.
still 36. Are we okay with reducing that to 36,000? That would be doubling what they have now.
They can always come back.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it's fine.
So let's take the unemployment
Yeah,
down to 36.
yeah, no, I'm right. Just try to be as realistic as possible. It's a best guess. If we guess wrong, we have to come back next year and deal with it. But
Yeah, and then the insurance, that's a different insurance line. That reduced. What went up?
liability, it's the same deal. You just don't know. Actually, that was what they asked for 325 last year. Sorry.
They must have.
No, wait a minute.
Yeah,
What?
they did.
They asked for we gave 325.
325, and then they
And then
must
it
have
was
moved money out of
amended
it.
down?
Yeah. They made it the same
Why
amount.
is that?
So they asked for the same.
Just the
amount that they
original,
asked for
just original. Yeah,
So maybe we can take it down to 300.
I think so.
So the liability and retainage, insurance retainage, whatever that is, let's take that down to 300,000.
That line number.
34003. Uh, 300.
We're gonna be pretty close square with them. Better than that, we take out the 10%.
They put 10% in there too?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, those need to go
I
out
need
of
the
the.
10% taken out too, please.
It's jumped into the important stuff. I was gonna get it when you got.
Sorry.
It's okay.
Get congested.
I'm finding it cold. There's tissue right
I got some. I got one.
Good.
Actually, grabbed a box of cleaning supplies before I walked out the door, and I left them on the counter.
In the cold.
I'm actually trying to get my daughter sick.
Yeah, what's the new total there? Do you have those all out now, Sam?
Yep, new total is an increase of 37,684. Just over 37,500.
About FICA, didn't we hear from the commissioners early this year that they're probably gonna need more in FICA? I thought when we were asking for cuts, I thought that something was mentioned.
Well,
I can't find it.
I think that might be true.
they didn't ask for more, so they, I'm kidding.
Well, I mean, that's one that always seems to be,
Well, it's gonna go,
Not
the
accurate.
Well,
FICA's
it's-
gonna go up if
It's
we give
gonna go up
salary
if we give a
increases.
raise, right?
And we'll have to adjust that, yeah. How much did they spend last year on FICA? Well, it's is it 7.65% of,
I'll say it's fixed percent, right?
7.65 of the salaries?
25 ended at 1,750,710 and 26.
We'll probably have to, if we give a 5%, we can probably calculate what that is. But for now, let's leave it. Back to that one. Because you guys will be able to give me a total on the increase, right? Okay. And I don't think the courts had any issues.
But I think it was a lot.
Yeah, they, was it 4? I didn't think it was 4. I think it was, 3. Yeah, maybe it was 6. I think they,
Yeah, it was 6. We had court reporter over 26 current. That shows an increase. But then there was also a reduction of that.
yes. So I think they just changed what the person's doing.
Is there any
I
department?
remember my conversation with Ms. Hall that is the case.
Is there any issue with that, guys?
I'm not sure what you're.
It just, the one court went up because they changed a position from one position to another, and it went up a couple $1,000, I
Oh,
think.
yeah.
With the other court reporters. Okay, drainage board went up $7,500. Increased
He just doubled the
the
per
board.
diem.
And his argument, by the way, he called me and apologized. They had the wrong date for the hearings, and that's why he didn't show up. He said, well, you didn't show up, you don't get it. I didn't really say that. I mean, I get his point, they do a lot of driving and they don't get compensated except here for driving around the county and gas is up and I don't know.
This is one where when I looked at per diem, it was a year or two ago, so I don't know if it's currently still like this, but the commissioner that was serving on the drainage board was also getting paid a per diem, even though that they were there in their role as commissioner. And so I think if we didn't pay the commissioner to also be on the board and consider it part of the commissioner's job, then you could give each board member an increase in pay without increasing the budget.
I understood no elected official was supposed to be getting per diem on top of, I don't, I drive out to properties for planning commission.
I'd have to pull it up, but I have the documentation that showed it.
Well, you could tell us,
Oh,
Todd,
interested in.
is the commissioner
Yeah,
getting a
what,
per
the-
diem for drainage?
That's one of the 5 voting members on that board.
What was your recommendation, Bethany? I
To
wasn't.
not pay the commissioner that's for that role on the board, and then we could leave the budget closer to the number, but still increase each person's pay. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
So it'd be like reducing that person's pay to increase the other people's pay.
Yeah.
But I don't know if we can actually do that without like an ordinance that says how to do that.
Five board members, is that right?
Right, so if you take the 7,500 divided by 5 and multiply it by 4, that's 6,000. So you could do 12,000 there. Or, because he doubled it from what it was
15
before.
to 3?
No, it was 7,500 and now they want 15.
Right, because they're getting paid, there's 5 of them, right? So they're getting paid $1,500 a piece right now. And they're wanting to increase it to $3,000 a piece. That just seems pretty steep.
Well, are they, or is it talking about increasing the hourly or I guess the per diem would be day. So is it saying they're gonna meet more days or do more work and they're getting paid for extra days, or is it just paying more per each appearance?
There are 2 meetings per month. Currently, members receive. They attend. We are requesting to increase the per. So they pay them $125 for a meeting. Yeah, I don't understand why we would be paying the commissioners.
That doesn't,
That makes sense.
I understand the confusion, but their only pay on that board is by per diem. Okay, so it's divided up by meeting. That's how they get paid. But I think what they're driving at behind is that they're traveling. They're not just showing up to meetings. They're traveling to look at these drains, just like Robbie said, you travel for your job on one of your boards, and they're trying to compensate for that. Their only method of payment is a per diem. They're basically wanting to pay their board members more, is what it comes down to. I wouldn't think about it as a per diem, because then you're thinking, well, you get paid $200 to come to a meeting, and that's
Was
not
a
really
reimbursement.
what
Almost.
they're doing.
I think what's confusing to me is they currently receive $100 and they're requesting that they be increased to $125. But the budget number is double.
And that's not double.
That's not double.
Yeah.
That's a 25% increase.
Yeah.
25% on 7,500 is whatever that is. 1750-ish.
1,875.
Oh, 1875. Okay. So like, I mean, I don't have an issue with their request of bumping it up because they do other responsibilities too, like I get that.
So he's
So,
increasing it to 125
So-
per member, and they meet 2 times a month. That's 250 per member,
versus 200.
and
3,000.
and then take 3,000 times. I need his phone numbers right now.
15,000,
15,000 total.
which is where it's at.
So you're saying the 125 is 15,000? Is that what your math said?
If they're getting 125 twice a month, that's $250 a month.
So they're not, they can't be currently making $100 per meeting at 2 meetings per month.
Don't they get paid per meeting?
Times
No,
5 of them, that's $1,000. That's
It's not.
12,000.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're paid per meeting, not
Right.
every month.
So not everyone,
Salaries.
not everyone goes to every meeting.
Oh, that's probably true.
I like putting it to 12,000 and calling it square and let them pay what they pay.
Yeah. Are you guys good with that? We reduce that to 12 instead of 15. We good with that?
Yep.
I'm okay if it stays at 7,500, but I'm only one person, so.
And I get it, you know, if I'm serving on a board and, you know, I have to drive around a lot, it's for that person that's not a commissioner, it's, you know, you're not getting paid to do that, so it'd be nice to have some compensation.
Are we gonna make that the policy then, that the commissioners?
I think it's by ordinance.
We'd have to alter
We
the
need
ordinance.
further research, yeah.
Yeah. If you wanna find the ordinance and one of you guys wanna work on that, get the ordinance and look at it. I'm not opposed
And I don't
to
know
it.
the commissioners, if they set the ordinance,
Oh, they said it.
but we fund.
Oh, that,
So-
that game again, right? All right, well,
So they'll have to redo their ordinance on a per pay basis if they're gonna change it. Budget, which would be the time to, if we don't wanna pay elected officials also, because I know on my board, planning commission, they don't pay elected officials. Oh, Olivia's on it, and myself, I think Kim, so we don't get any
You're not getting paid to be there.
additional.
Right.
it's just like COG. I don't get paid to be on COG.
Right.
And I have to drive there every other month. So if we reduce to 1,200, that would be, well, that would still be, I don't know how they were doing it at
12,000.
7,500 before, because
Yeah, it doesn't, the
it
math, the
doesn't,
math
it doesn't
didn't
make
add.
sense.
It's
If they were,
because
if
they
they were,
don't always meet
Yeah,
every
there
month.
must be more to
And
it
not
than what
every
we
board
know.
met, they're paid every
If they
time they
show.
show up, that's it.
okay, so then it just seems,
It's a,
yeah,
I
I
don't know
don't-
if it's 125 or 150, it's set by the, I don't
Yeah.
remember what it is.
so let's reduce that to 12.
Yeah, let's
12?
do it.
You okay with that, guys? I know you want to
Sure,
put it back to
that's fine.
750.
9,000.
Oh, we could, yeah. I mean, we could take it down and just increase it a little bit. We can reduce it down to 10. I mean, increase it to 10 from what, 7,500? That be better?
10,000, is that what you're saying?
10,000 there.
Yeah.
So you're
okay with that.
9, hit anybody for 9.
9, okay.
8,000.
Bethany will be, yes, at 7,500.
Because they're wanting to go from 100 to 125, right? Is the-
Yeah, but not everybody shows up. for the
Right,
board
but I'm
meeting,
just
so
saying
they
that's a
don't get paid.
25% increase,
Yeah.
right? So 7,500, if you did a 25% increase, that would be $9,375.
Okay, hold on a second.
So,
Okay,
10,000.
so drainage board
so
in 2024 was $100 per meeting. And just because I want to make sure I'm not giving you wrong information, yes, the commissioner was paid.
No, it says rate 100. It says 0 there.
Hold on a second.
Is that it? It's sideways. That's
It
why
is
we're-
sideways.
She's
We're all-
doing this. I'm like, why are you?
Well, was
crossing
he
your eyes?
there?
That shows that we gotta go.
That's a
How many
specific.
departments we got to go?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that just means he wasn't there.
How we doing?
I don't know.
Departments.
Yeah,
So he would have been paid. It says rate 100.
that's what I think. So, that's confusing.
Okay, we need to get going quicker.
We need-
Sorry.
we need to
Yeah.
control
I just,
numbers.
it was
We've all
bothering me.
agreed
I want to
so,
make
yeah.
sure I wasn't
Okay, so let's
mistaking
reduce
stuff.
that to 10.
I'll compromise with that.
Moving on. Problem solving court reduced their budget, so I think we're fine there. Public defenders reduced their budget. Juvenile probation reduced their budget. County co-op reduced their
See, I'm
budget.
gonna do these quick.
Central records doesn't exist.
Oh.
Adult probation's not in this. Why is that there? Nothing in the general fund. Well, okay, we'll come back to that. So we don't have to worry about them for that. Security went up. So what is it?
The salaries, that's also budgeted by courthouse.
Yep, so please take those out. Yeah, it was mostly salaries. All salaries.
Yep.
A little bit
And
for
longevity.
uniform maintenance.
Yeah. Thank you. And take it one all day.
Get the ones that are where they're in,
What do you look,
increases. Personnel.
personnel,
We didn't do personnel.
What's county court system? Why does that look? What is, yeah. You know, but why does it say it's general went down? Personnel went up. Oh, okay. What she did there is
She
she
just added it.
added an employee, and guys, we're gonna have to. I've had some conversations with Todd on this about IT. You know, what I'm talking about
Human resources.
human resources. We're gonna have a conversation with the commissioners about that.
just taking that
Huh?
over, taking it over, should be. Rather than stand alone, same thing with weight and measures.
Yeah.
Weight and measures. Who would they go underneath?
Commissioners one.
Yeah.
We've
you're right.
talked about that for some time, just
Needs to be consolidated under. I agree. So I think we need to take out the extra person right now in that position. Agreed?
I agree.
It's not been hired, correct?
No,
Okay.
no.
All right.
you get an email, it's an opening.
Both the increase as well as the new position? Is there
She
some
put
requested
10%
salary?
for
There's the
herself.
10% that needs to be out, and then
Yeah.
and then the second position, the 65,000. That should take care of the overall.
I mean, we all know that lady is irreplaceable
Yeah, I
with
mean-
what experience she brings, and have just one person in there is kind of.
What's no department?
That is signifying anything, or that's the system's way of signifying anything within the
Oh,
general
yeah,
fund
yeah.
that does not carry a location tag at the end of its account.
Well,
And the things in there should be miscellaneous.
those are miscellaneous accounts, right? And then mental health, I'm pretty sure, Todd, we took into consideration the increase in mental health in our revenue stream. So we won't have to worry about that one. So is that everybody? You said we were
I think-
almost,
I
you
think
said
it's
we were
everybody.
done.
Yeah.
Okay, so tell me what my general fund looks like.
An increase overall within the general fund is $636,145,
Yay.
with showing an increase over 26 amended as a 1.4% increase.
Okay, does anybody have that sheet? I didn't bring it, that I showed our revenues.
Yeah.
Is that it?
It's the one. But year over year?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's.
Okay, so 27. Where's our revenue? There's our revenue. Okay, so 46. So what's the grand total? What's the grand total?
Your current running total is 46,061,981 and 85.
46 million, 61,981.85.
Realistically, I would round that to 82.
Well, here's the good news, guys. Then I'm looking at our revenue. Is at 46,255,328, which is more than what we have there. Now, what we haven't taken into consideration is the 5% increase, which is about a little over $1 million.
$1,032,000.
Yep. So.
What's the total for 5%?
5% is where'd it go? $1,032,000.
That include merit officers? or-
So each
No.
percent's roughly 200,000.
Roughly.
206,000.
What is a 3% increase?
620,000. And then we also can take into consideration that next year, the commissioners have agreed to the 300,000 as well. And the sheriff's already put his 150, he's taken it out of his budget. That's almost $838,000 over budget with the.
Is our anticipated revenue, is that with the estimates that have come in
Yes.
for our lit?
Todd and I sat down and went over the reading numbers for property tax. And then our lit probably, did we increase? We did increase the lit. And then,
We increased it by 3%, but it does.
Is that 3% based upon last year's estimated or this year's collected
It's
lit?
based on the growth of lit over time.
That doesn't include, your revenue projection that you're describing doesn't include supplemental lit,
That's right.
which has been 2 million in the last 2 years. Right. See, I think
So this total that I got online from DLGF, where it's local income tax distribution amounts estimated for county or for calendar year 2027 certified distributions,
What's the date on?
August 2nd. Do you want to see it? Because I have it highlighted, and I did, because the certified shares is 38,740,204, but we don't get all that, right?
No.
That goes,
divided between all the
because it
municipalities.
has public safety, the correctional lit, and then the property tax relief. But the estimate for certified shares is 38,740,204.
That would be absurd, you said?
$5,000 budget, and half of it taxes, the other half goes from. You'd be able to increase your.
But that's not all for us, though, right?
No, that's not.
So what portion of that would be us?
You,
Okay. Oh, where do you find that?
That's probably looking from a unit. Let's look at it like this. If we get,
Right.
all the different units out by unit, I don't know.
Okay.
And I want to have just a really quick discussion on, Todd, in our public safety, there's that $1.5 million in there that is for the jail bond. Now, we don't need that anymore. Starting next year, we have to start paying on the bond, correct?
We still need it until we exceed the bond coverage, okay? And we'll know more, that's tied to the lead numbers too. Think about what your lead is, your jail lead. Right now, we have jail lead plus public safety lead, because we have to keep that under these points. So as those leads increase, we will see a need for it to reduce that coverage. And I think by the time that the lit reforms here by 29, we won't need that bond coverage at all, because you're all going to be lumped into one big sum. And now you don't have bond coverage, because if you think about the bond coverage, it's saying, hey, you're getting this much for the jail correctional lit. We need you to have 125% of that, or 125% of the payment. So your jail lit has to be much, and then whatever you're adding to it, that's your bond coverage. There will be a need down, but and it'll probably be completely gone by the time we change the lit.
Do you think it'll be able to go down for next year, though?
Not next year, but probably the year after.
Okay, so the reason I'm asking is because with the merit officers increase, we are not fully funded anymore on the retirement.
Right.
And in order to fully fund that in 1 year's time, I think it was $900 and some thousand.
I think that how far we can go based on it. I can do a cash flow analysis for you.
Okay,
I think you should budget for the whole amount, because it took a big jump to get fully funded. Stay on top.
Yeah.
Keep fully funded.
I just want to make sure we got enough in that revenue source to be able to do that, because I also know that probation, correct me if I'm wrong, has put 2 positions in there
Yeah.
that they lost from their other funds that they were
I
receiving.
think we ought to fund the 900,000 or whatever the figure is. 1.5, and then we'll jostle around with cash flow.
Okay.
Okay.
So I think that's it. And the only other thing we're gonna have in the rainy day is that $1 million. And then the capital case, and that's it this next year, right?
It'll be over next year.
Really? Okay, guys,
Can't be so.
where do we go from here? So we've got our, I mean, is that what we're gonna advertise? Well, no, we have to advertise with the 5% increase in there, right?
That's what I would recommend.
Okay,
Bear in mind, you still wanted a number that the courthouse still has a few adjustments that may
Yes.
be pending. It's minimal at this point in
Yes.
the overall.
so I guess I just wanna know, so that Todd,
$800,000 over the projected.
say again?
You're looking at 800,000 over the projected recurring revenue.
Yeah,
I'm comfortable with that if you budget for that. I think you're gonna get.
it's about
one-time-
840.
You're gonna get one-time revenues.
Right.
There's no,
We're-
think about that
right.
supplemental. Now, I wouldn't be comfortable if you were budgeting $2.2 million over, hoping you get that supplemental. But I think 840,000 totally
I agree.
in one-time money.
Okay,
What's it historically been? 1.5?
Depends. Depends on the year.
That's why I hate to budget on something. Last 2 years, it's been beautiful, but personally, I don't like that system, because.
Well, how do you budget?
You can't budget that.
You get 100,000 or 2.1 million. I mean,
Right.
that's,
well, I know we
Yeah.
got, what did we get, 2 2 million or?
We got 2 million last year, 2 million this year.
that pretty well. And then you have a little extra to do things.
Well, that lit has contributed to a significant growth in the contingency.
So we got 2 million this time. We used 1 million of it because we're putting the insurance back in there, and we used 1 million for, we're gonna use for the 26 pay.
Right, but we're gonna do that towards the end of the year, okay? Back that 27th payout. Didn't want to do that this month along with the group insurance, because as we get closer, we can hone that number down on what you'll actually need. Just keep it kind of a running look. It's ongoing work.
Okay. So we'll probably address that in November.
November, yeah.
Advertise the higher number.
Okay,
Take a look
so
at-
I think what we need Sam to do then is we need him to add back in 5% increases. I know you're gonna kill me right after I had to take them all out.
That's okay. I'm not gonna lie. The first thing that goes through my mind is if I'm at my normal keyboard, no problem. We're good.
Spoken like a true
Tomorrow
tech.
for you.
No, I don't need that today. No, absolutely not.
Would it be beneficial
Tomorrow
if I
it'll be
took care
fine.
of that for you guys and then sent it over in report format, so it's not this
Yeah.
longer thing, but instead what we had kind of discussed, or actually, never mind, not this one. Look at the budget book. If we had it printed out in a nice format that was in a nice, easy left to right, similar to what our budget books were in 26, just digital and able
Yep.
to be printed at that point, would you guys prefer it in that format?
Yeah.
I don't think you're gonna get any argument.
I see a lot of nods and not a lot of shakes.
That would be great.
We'll do that. That's what I'll do in the morning. Then we'll get that off. I project having it out to you probably midday by EOD at latest.
You know, it's just so that we can put our eyes to it. And then, you know, as long as everything looks good, then Todd probably needs to advertise that for our next meeting. And then we can get that.
We still need to reconcile the issue of department heads who have, like Todd, who have saved money and put it back into their, into other expenses.
Well, and I like Todd's response to us that he said, you don't have to give my employees a 5% because I took care of the 5% in my increases. So that's 5% out of his employees that I don't have to add in again.
Don't need the 840,000, all of it. Percent of my employees.
So it might be a little less. Does that make sense? That $1 million, yeah.
No, I think that, yeah, which is great. I think the issue is just for those departments that want to increase their employees beyond 5%, it's reconciling what, and the impact on elected official salaries. Those are the issues we have not resolved.
Well, do you want to make a motion to what you think we should do and we can vote on and get it done and resolved tonight?
I think it might be a lengthy discussion, don't you, or not?
On what? Good officials?
On all of the
Well,
above.
On just policy, on if you cut a
Yeah, I think-
position, does it
I
all
don't-
stay within the department?
think
What
each
percentage stays
one
within the department?
Takes a different, I think you need to take each case by itself. In one case,
I think specifically we're talking about what's the precedent for this year for this budget cycle. Is that,
Yeah,
you agree with
no,
that?
I
We're-
think as
We're
an-
primarily just
I
saying
think we
right
did
now.
set policy by leaving it in, what
Right.
we left in. I mean, I don't.
You're
One thing I would want to make sure though, is if we give everybody 5% and somebody only got
Yes.
4.5%.
No, I agree.
They get bumped up to 5.
we
Because
need
there were
to-
several in the clerk's budget that didn't get a full 5% because she didn't have the funds to be able to do that.
You're saying let them redistribute their money up to whatever they want to do. If it's over the 5%, if they're giving over a 5% raise, that's it. They don't get the additional 5%. If it's under a 5% raise, you're going to at least get them to the 5%. that what you're proposing?
Okay, so I thought earlier we talked about if they were getting a bump in pay, that they could get a 5% off of their current salary now before that bump,
That's
plus
what I
the
thought.
bump, as long as they didn't go over a total of 10% increase.
That would articulate
Yes.
what my
Do you want me to make the
proposal,
motion and you can second it?
that would just be
Well, we
marvelous.
don't have a
That's what I thought it was.
recording
And I was
secretary.
exempting elected officials
And is
from
this
that.
policy for this budget season only or for ongoing or?
No,
So
it's
when you
just for
exempt the
Oh,
elected
okay.
official, what are you proposing for the elected official specifically? What are you stopping them from doing?
I'm just proposing that every elected official gets 5% like every other employee will get. That's
Yeah.
what I'm proposing. And that then they can reward other employees more than that, up to 10% at their discretion, depending upon the resources that they have.
Is this something that we would need our attorney for to do anything or no? Because I know we did a hiring freeze and then found out that the hiring freeze didn't take into effect because we didn't have an ordinance.
I think we're just giving guidance to the auditor's office. and
Yeah,
they're
I
gonna do
don't
this
know.
5%.
Yeah, we're just trying to make a budget, I think,
have
at this
a
point. I
collective
think
voice
it's
that
a-
we agree
It's a matter
on.
of principle and giving department
And
heads
then that way
direction.
your
I think the
employees
problem
will
is
still get
then with the
5%.
elected officials,
And
the people who
which
need their
is fair.
salaries to be increased or according to their
You're not
workload.
taking 5%.
You're
Well,
then saying we're not going to address that.
That's a separate issue and we can't address that, I think, in this
We don't
budget
have the,
cycle.
we don't have. the
No,
funds to do
I
it.
think going forward, if we wanted to put a small group, 3 people together to do a study,
So you should
to
get
evaluate
5%.
where our elected officials' salaries are relative to their responsibilities and give a report back by March of next year. I mean, that's a
We have a
different,
personnel committee.
it's right. That's a different kind of responsibility, I think.
And I think, I mean, Todd said that you didn't have to give him his 5%, but I don't know is that really fair? Because Linda will want her 5% for her employees. Same with who else?
Well, Linda didn't also, Linda's aren't 10% either.
Yeah.
Linda's are like 3% right now with the rate they are. Now, there was a couple, but with the elected official and the other one, we took half of that out and put it into a stipend that they get if it's during an election season. That makes sense?
Yeah, but that's just for that specific.
I don't think there's anybody
Situation.
else except Todd that even came to
It's
that.
got to decide what you're going to do. I mean, because you kind of indicated, I tried to be an example for you. Very few departments came through for you. You were disappointed. You
Well, they're
didn't
not gonna
understand
do it
why. But
now.
I'll tell you why. If you don't do what you say you're going to do, they don't trust you. So it's about an integrity issue. When you kind of set the standard, you put it out there, and then if a department head like myself comes forward and complies with you, and then you don't do what you said you're going to do, guess what's going to happen next year? No one's going to give you cuts. If you make an example out of the 3 departments that did what you ask and say, hey, this is how we want you to behave, and we'll keep our word to you, then you'll probably get more buy-in in the future. But I had people tell me, Todd, don't you cut your budget. You know they're not going to do what they said they're going to do. And I said, no, I think they will.
So what would you amend it to from what we're talking about now?
I would exempt was it 3 departments that you had?
I don't even know if it's 3.
Let them do whatever they did,
think
because
there was-
that's what you told them you were going to do.
Departments that offered up cuts, but then they took them back.
I think he's referring to the 3 that had employees.
That
Employee
followed
cuts.
through.
Yeah, because that's what you really wanted. You wanted employees cut because that gives you a direct benefit. Even if they redistribute all the money, it gives you a direct benefit because now you're not having group insurance and I mean, it's a hefty. That's what you were looking for, a personnel drop, because you get a benefit advantage.
So being able to reinvest that money in the rest of their department. I mean,
Yes.
that's what we're at. That's what you're asking for, and that's
Right.
what we're proposing.
That's what,
So
is it what you're proposing? I can't understand what you're proposing
We're
because
not talking about taking away any of the
No, we're not taking
distribution for
any
your
of that.
other employees. We're not talking about that.
We're talking about
Unless you capped it
5% in addition
Well,
to
nobody's over 10.
Okay.
already
I,
being.
I think about it different because you're not giving me a 5% increase in my budget. I'm taking less just like you asked me to do. I'm occupying less. I'm reducing my budget by $1,000. You haven't given me a 5%, but I've given everyone in my office a 10% raise. You see what that's why I don't understand what you're
didn't remember
saying.
the percentages, I'm sorry. I was thinking that I knew that some of Linda.
So what do you
the
not like
clerks-
that we're doing?
I don't understand your verbiage, because you're saying, well, you're giving me 5% and then you're letting me go 5% above that. Well, you're not giving me anything because I reduced my budget.
I don't think that's what we're saying. I think
And
we're saying that if you fund your 10%, then you just don't get the additional 5% that we're
I
giving.
don't want the additional 5%.
Right? That's right. That's what we're saying.
I don't want 15%.
On 5, yeah.
Right. I think that's what we're saying. I think we're all in
And I think-
agreement.
I
I
understand
think-
it now because I thought your percentages were less. I didn't pay attention.
And I
when we
think
went
that
through.
if there's a concern about elected official salaries, that y'all need to do a study on it and you need to come to some consideration as to.
I totally agree, but I don't like the idea of kicking the can down the road. If you're going to make the recorder at, let's say the recorder makes 71,000 plus 5%. Okay. If you're given 5%. Okay.
Todd, we're having a conversation here that's really not, you're talking about the value of the recorder compared to the value of the treasurer. Like you've made that point. That's not the conversation.
I know, but it should be. That's what I'm,
That's not the conversation.
that's fine. But I'm,
You said your piece.
okay. Thank you. You know, as long as you understand my piece. Yeah.
You've made it clear.
Okay.
Yes. But I am inclined to establish, I would like, back to Bethany's point earlier, clarify that I like the idea of those departments that saved money to be able to reinvest in their departments, whether it be giving raises or supplies or technology or whatever else, whatever. I think that does give integrity to the process. I'm trying to reconcile the fact that you have departments that aren't equal, but we're trying to create an equitable scenario. And no matter what decision we make, there's going to be a department that says that doesn't work quite the same for me as it does for them. It doesn't matter what the scenario is. You're making the case for you and for a particular set of departments. I guess what I'm suggesting is that we do a 5% raise for everyone, and that for departments who have resources and want to invest more in their staff and departments that they're able to do that, I would just cap it at 10%. Again, in the spirit of equity with other departments. It's my own conviction that elected officials, that it's equal across all elected officials.
So you're saying that
We could certainly make the argument that we've saved a lot of money. We're going to put it in our salaries, or that blocking out our name of the use at Juvenile Center. McKinsey has made hundreds of thousands of dollars for, but is not asked for significant increases in raise for herself. So
what you're saying is money that they've saved in their departments
it goes back to their departments.
which is what has happened.
Right.
But I think the only caveat to that is that elected officials should not be able to compensate themselves above the 5% that the majority, that everybody else is
is going to get. That's
So-
all. That's all I'm saying.
And if they want to take that
And if-
extra money, they can put it back in their other employees if they want.
And I don't disagree with the idea of establishing a committee to assess responsibility and pay for elected officials. I mean, but that's just, I'm just putting my opinion out there.
I'd like to see what
Because we would have to
they
take into
do, like
consideration
sheriff's
all
pay
revenue
versus
sources that
percent of
elected
whatever
officials
the state
receive.
Right.
says.
Because I know
No.
the reassessment fee pays the assessor,
And there's no argument
and-
here, we just change it.
other different fees, there's other different funds that pay
Well, all the,
elected officials.
Same thing with first.
there's a lot of
deputies.
different ways elected officials get paid. Sheriff gets paid by the state, and it is what it is. He doesn't get a 5% increase.
I understand that we put a message forth this budget season about what you're talking about, the message that we sent. I wasn't in agreement with that message, but we didn't vote on it. That, you know what I mean? So, but it's the message that got put out. it is what it is. So I'm fine with it because that's the message that was given. But at some point, to me, it's like, when is our budget ever going to go down? Like, when are we ever going to cut?
Well, you gotta decide what services to cut.
Mm.
right?
Yeah, it
Well,
would
I'm
only
just saying
give-
if we
it would
can
give
do with
service.
less, we should do with less instead of just bumping things up, whether that's needed or not.
Well, and as devil's advocate, I mean, our salaries have been exceptionally low in this county. So if we've got a department that can eliminate a position and bump their employees up with that funding, I'm okay with that. And I'm not said that I'm against that. I think that's a good thing. But I think that, 10%, I mean, that's a huge increase for a department, and I think that's a good number to say at 10%, that's the max you can go up.
You see what I'm saying too?
Yeah,
though?
I do, and then eventually, hopefully, we'll get our departments a little bit higher in salaries where they need to be, as across the board.
So when we started this, I thought that we were asking the departments to cut 5% because we were gonna have to cut, like, our revenue was gonna be down and we were gonna have to cut the budget.
And our revenue is down from what it would have been had they not implemented Senate Bill 1 portion of the property tax. We're not receiving as much property tax as what we would have.
Right.
Originally, I thought it was going to be a lot worse than it is.
Right, and
I
I'm
did.
glad it's not.
I am too. And originally I was like, if we're going to give any raises this year, we have to cut the 5%. That I think that we're okay. And only some departments complied with that, but they're able to give their departments a larger boost in their salaries because of that complying. The other departments aren't going to get that benefit. They're only going to get the 5% increase. So I guess I want to make sure I understand. I think there's a motion on the table. I'm not sure. But is it a motion that if departments were able to eliminate a position, they can redistribute that funds to their department employees up to 10% increase?
You're saying that they're gonna go back in their budget now, they can all of a sudden.
There is
find-
nobody else that,
No,
I mean, there is
It's
no.
not like that.
Oh, we don't need a motion. I mean, we can agree and we're setting the auditor's office to
Yeah.
giving them direction.
I don't
It's not
think it needs
really
a
a-
motion.
Okay,
Plus, it's not gonna be reflected in meeting minutes.
okay.
So I think we're just stating what's
I mean,
happening.
I agree that I will support that.
So you can
yes.
reinvest or reallocate all that money back into your own department. And when it comes to salaries, you can give a maximum of 10%. Once you hit that 10% threshold, if it's all coming from your own department, you don't get the 5% that's going to cross the board, right?
Correct.
For this.
For this
For
year,
this
this
But
is,
this
we're
is
just talking
today.
about this year,
Just this year's budget.
not just today.
All we're doing is 27 budget.
Yes, we're not talking
I
about
just
the
don't want
future.
to set policy that's.
It's not a.
It's not
I think
policy.
that's-
We're
I think
just
that's
general
the
consensus that we're
consensus.
agreeing on for this year.
You guys good with that?
Okay, so you're not gonna let the department heads go in and edit this, right?
There's nothing they can
Yeah,
edit. Nobody's
they've already,
given-
we've already put this out
nobody
over and
has
over.
Given us any, nobody else
This is only if they
except the
cut.
auditor and the clerk have eliminated a position. I don't know. There was one other department that, $20,000.
EMS.
Yeah,
EMS.
EMS.
Was there maybe one other person?
It doesn't matter. It's
Yeah,
general
so
So we're just
consensus.
giving the auditor's office direction on how to go in and input the 5%.
Yes.
We're
Right.
doing that, yes,
Okay.
to the auditor's office.
Okay.
I think we're all saying the same thing for this
You're
year.
two in different groups.
Yeah.
Sam, do you understand what we're saying? Because you're the one that's got to input this.
I understand what is being asked of me. That's correct.
Okay.
God bless you.
I will say, I am a little concerned at the precedent that you might be setting because of the amount of complexity and into the weeds that you may be getting with the verbiage this year. I understand and I appreciate the guidance that you guys have with it. From in the private sector, where I would have more understanding, your departments run as an umbrella company under your direction. You want them to be as autonomous as physically capable, but it almost feels as though you're rewarding good managers by giving them a slap on the wrist and not rewarding bad managers but rather telling them better watch out. I don't know.
So are you saying that we shouldn't give a 5% across the board?
I say that you guys should do what you feel inclined to do. If it were me, I would be cautious with the wording in
Around elected
how it
officials.
might leave a bad taste for future budget years. Because yeah, we're just concerned with 27 currently, but a lot of these people are going to continue to be in those positions in 28 and 29, and we're not going to see the same revenue streams in 28 and 29. Things are going to be different, but the potential of them holding a grudge and then what do they call it nowadays? Quiet quitting might become more common. Retention numbers are what really, I guess, matter to me. I'm tired of turnover.
And you're talking employees.
I'm
correct?
talking employees,
Okay.
and I'm not just talking new employees or part-time employees. I'm talking about as we have retirees that have been here 30, 40, 50 years, you have people coming in that you have to invest in, and they're going to want a higher salary rate. And yeah, that's a lot to bite off. But if the managers of the good departments have made that possible, they're going to remember in the future years that I don't know.
But we're not taking that away from those
I
departments.
understand that. I'm not saying that any physical final decisions have been made in a positive or a negative way. I'm saying that the precedent that's being set might potentially cause a bad taste. That's
So,
all. It's
Explain to me
conjecture.
what that precedent is, because I
So,
guess I'm a little confused.
If I were watching this from home, hearing the back and forth and the input from the different council members, you all have the same perspective, and it's all correct in different formats, the different sides of a dice, so to speak. But the more wording you put to a thing, the more it's going to feel personal to the people that are reading it, if that makes it any less muddy, perhaps. I would say less is more in this instance.
So I think all we're saying is that we need you to put a 5% increase for all employees,
Right. And
unless they're at a 10% already.
Right, and I led with that and my preface that I understand exactly what I'm being told to do, and I will do so. I was merely sharing an opinion.
No, that's okay. I'm
So
not
I guess
sure.
what would you change?
I guess I don't
'Cause I
understand.
don't-
Yeah,
That's what I'm
I'm not
confused.
clear.
What would, how would you word it if it were yours? How would you word it?
I wouldn't word it. And that's the point. I would do it. Because the more we start talking about, well, this department did this and these 3 departments did that, but these other departments don't do this, but we should also take a look and put together a focus group on what departments do what and what revenues are brought in by what departments, that becomes extremely convoluted very quickly. Very, very quickly. If you're going to do a financial analysis, do one as a whole. That would be my suggestion. Put together the study group, but I wouldn't phrase anything.
Okay.
But that's just me. Again, I just do the numbers.
But you have a pulse on.
But we ask for your opinion.
Yeah.
No worries, guys.
Okay.
I'll have this done tomorrow, and I'll make sure that it's in each of your spots in a pleasant format for a report. I appreciate the opportunity to help with it.
If you can't get it done by tomorrow, that's okay. Because it's a lot. I know I spent all day working on it again, so.
Okay, so
He's a little faster, Jody.
before we leave, so I didn't come to the budget session. Did you guys look at the tax levies that we're gonna advertise? Like the tax levy rates we're gonna advertise?
That's what, when he gets those numbers in, we'll know what that budget looks like, and that's what we'll advertise.
I know that, but what about like the health fund levy and the park levy? And
Okay, so
the
Todd
public
and
safety-
I and Christine worked on those numbers with those levies. Right now, there is no park levy.
Okay.
Okay. There is the health fund levy, the reassessment, the general fund, and what am I forgetting? The bridge. And they've agreed not to raise the bridge tax this year, so that'll help with our funding as well. And I believe that we might have raised the health fund just a smidge, the reassessment, a smidge.
How much is a smidge?
It was a smidge.
And how much did it increase the general fund?
So when you look at the sheet that I was looking at that Scott
The
had,
pretty colored one. that you
yeah, the
did,
pretty colored
I
one
love
that has all the different rates, and then it's got like a 4% levy and a 5% levy, and then it's got a 3% increase for salaries and a 5% increase. Look at the revenue stream there, Okay.
the revenue, and that's what we calculated the revenue would be based upon what he always does when we have the net assessed value for property taxes. And then we also looked at some of our miscellaneous funds, and we took out like the additional funds for the help me. The
Property tax relief.
No, the $200,000 from, what department is that? We just redistributed funds. Planning Commission, thank you. We took that out. We altered some of our miscellaneous funds to reflect what we thought they would be
Okay.
going forward. So that's our revenue. That's the revenue that we're guesstimating for the next couple of years. We've done it out for the next 3-4 years.
Okay, so when are we gonna get to see the levies? When they're advertised or before they're advertised?
I don't know when we're gonna know what the levy
We'll
is.
advertise about the amount, just so they have room to move it. Our council, the work of that levy sheet.
Yeah, yeah. You know what he's talking about, the levy sheet that he always does?
Maximum levy rules sheets that I've done it all.
Running on not very much
Auditor's
sleep,
report,
I'm
but
sorry.
that's okay. Let me just, I'll send it to the whole council of
Okay.
the kind of picture snapshot of where we're at.
Okay, that sounds great, thank you.
Okay, great. Are we ready to adjourn?
Make a motion to adjourn.
I think Rob's ready.
Is that a second?
You making a motion?
I made a
said
motion.
amen.
All in favor, signify by aye.
Do we have a second?
Any opposed,
Yeah.
I'll shoot you.
I think there were a few seconds.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Wait,